welcome to the Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse Shopping Network. Shipping Goblin Bob here is going to tell you all about our new Platinum Edition. It's my favorite.
Thanks, George. Friends, are you tired of putting a cat, a flask of poison, and a source of radiation into a sealed box and having to settle for a cat that's dead or alive? Well, Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse has the product for you. Introducing the Schrodinger's Cat Platinum Edition. With the Schrodinger's Platinum Box, you can have both versions of your pet at the same time. Free yourself from objective collapse and enjoy a cat that simultaneously exists in two decoherent realities. It's time for atomic indeterminacy to enter the macroscopic domain. It's time for Schrodinger's Cat Platinum Edition.
Yeah. She's totally dead. But totally alive.
Only from Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse. Simultaneously available and sold out now.
In a world wrought with demons, going to hell is the only way to get redemption. 5 adventures, 1 mission. This spring, join us as we descend into Avernus, the first layer of hell. Action, fire, brimstone. If you make a deal with the devil, you better be prepared to dance. Band of Badgers, Descent into Avernus, coming this May.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the Mythic North. We'll be getting into that vibe very shortly, but for now, welcome back to Band of Badgers. My name is Elle. I'll be your host and game master for this evening, and we'll be playing another episode of King Hunt, our VAESEN story, where we will be traipsing through the second part of The Night Sal, written by the ever-wonderful Niels Hintz. But before we do that, I must say that I will not be doing this by myself today, because that would be ludicrous. I do once again have my wonderful band of players with me, including one beautiful special guest, whom we will introduce in turn. For now, I will go around and introduce you all. Could you please let me and the people at home know your pronouns, your name, and whereabouts we can find you on the internet? So let's start with you, Joe.
Hi, my name's Joe, and I am playing Father Pavel, and I can be found on the internet under I'm a Good Demon Honest everywhere. So, thank you.
Great. T.
Hello, people! Plus this is a name, Plasty, or T for short, preferably T, but who cares? I will be playing the lovely Dr. Anki Salo, who's not sharing my pronouns, which is he, him, because I forgot about that. So yeah, it'll be fun tonight.
Fabulous. Ree.
Hello, I am Ree, I'm she, her, and you can find me as Recreated or Romeo Indigo Echo, or just Ree, pretty much everywhere. So come find me. Let's be friends.
And Jairus.
Hello, I am Jairus. My pronouns are he, him. And you can find me on Twitter at Dangerous or on Twitch as well at Dangerous.
Sweet.
I don't
and
Twitch anymore, but I do.
on occasion. And once again, we're joined by our splendiferous special guest, Matt Brown from Split the Party. Hi, Matt. How you doing?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me again. This is great. Hey, I'm Matt Brown. I DM and produce for Split the Party over on youtube.com/splittheparty. We also stream at twitch.tv/splitthepartytv. And I am also a professional DM. Yeah.
Great. Thanks again for joining us, my dude. It's a pleasure to have you. So.
Oh, I totally forgot. Sorry. I'm playing Crassius Curio and he, him.
There we go. Perfect.
It's too early.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, for Matt here, it is like, what, 6 a.m. for you? It's something ludicrous.
11, yeah.
Oh,
so early.
I want it noted that this man is a hero. So once again, I am Elle, he, him, your game master for the evening. You can find me at Good and Chaotic, various hidey holes around the internet, usually yelling into various devices and hoping that someone out there in the void hears me. As always, thank you once again to our special guests, and thank you to our supporters, Beadle and Grimm and the wonderful Free League, the publishers behind the game we'll be playing this evening. Speaking of Free League and the wonderful game we'll be playing, if you are interested in picking yourself up a copy, fear not! We are giving away one PDF of the cool rulebook of VAESEN at the break, so stick around for that, where we will be having a chat with our guests here and giving away that. So that'll be good and fun. But for now, I do have a little OC announcement before we jump into things. VAESEN can be a little spooky. I know for everyone who's been there from the beginning, this is going to be sounding like a broken record, but VAESEN can be very spooky. It can be a little disconcerting. For when things are getting a little OC dramatic, for instance, when there's any sort of intense gore or scenes of descriptions of death or intense violence, I will flick these lights red. That will be your cue, if you are not a fan of that, to step away, get a drink, get a biscuit, and then come back when the lights once again green, and all will be well. My players here have their own safety mechanism to do, so no, never fear. It's just a quick thing for if the scenes should rapidly change, that is why. Without further ado, I believe that is everything. Shall we play some VAESEN?
Yes.
Just try to fucking stop us.
I wouldn't dare. I
like
wouldn't
that.
dare. Okay, so as we bring ourselves back into our story, let's investigate a little bit about what happened last time on our part 1 of the Nightstone mystery. The players resolved some mysteries and uncovered some others during the game. They found their wayward adopted ward, Sophia, now in the care of Miss Linnea Elfclint, who had given them the deeds to the castle all those weeks before. They also discovered a hit attempted on their contact Teddy Knight, who escaped Carl Linnaeus's assassination attempt, and found that he knows where Esther is and knows that both she and Tova are safe. They also uncovered that Knight had managed to stop an arson attack that Linnaeus had almost managed to stage against the castle with all of them, including their new friend Kruger, inside. Linnea then asked them for help to support a friend who had found herself in a bit of a bind, as she and Sophia has effectively had to go into hiding to avoid being attacked like Knight had been. One Olga Karras found herself trapped in a hotel with her friends, evading the wrath of a beast they'd brought upon themselves by casting a ritual, was caused some sort of boar with glowing red eyes to come after them. Linnea had therefore asked for help, the help of one Crassius Curio, who had encountered such a creature before, and has joined you on this misadventure. The place Olga and her friends had chosen for the ritual was charged with magical energy, and someone had bitten the casters to it. Whoever it was had cast a ritual that meant the summoning of a glossin would occur when a ritual was next cast in that space, and hunt the casters down in order to devour them and their magical energies. Upon reaching the town of Molly, our Thursday's children found the body of one Olga Karras outside the hotel, torn almost in half by enormous tusks and great force, in a brutal murder scene, the trail of which led them to the graveyard before going cold. They also spotted a strange man walking away from the scene, carrying a tall, gnarled staff. Ingrid has had a little chat with our freshly dead Olga, using a gift given to her from our new friend Ezekiel at the occult shop she found in Uppsala, to the horror of the rest of the party, gleaning a little more information. They then investigated Olga's hotel room, finding a map to one rooting cave, an underground cavern where under Lighthouse Hill, found out that the Glossin is one, a gigantic pig creature controlled by a staff of lindenwood, and two, easily distracted by throwing seeds or apples in order to get away. They then parted ways for the evening, with the intent the next morning of speaking to the daughter of the hotel's proprietor, who they had met the night before, speaking to Olga's friends who were staying at the hotel, finding the mysterious man with the tall staff, and investigating the rumours of a society headquarters somewhere in Morley. So, we will bring ourselves back into the new day. You all went to sleep, having fitful dreams of the dead and the dying, a cold blizzard air being forced into dead lungs. The next morning, the storm doesn't appear to have cleared. The clouds hang just as close and dark as ever, making it seem as though night is approaching once more, rather than the business hours of the morning. Let us attend first to the matter of recuperation. A significant majority of you had somewhat had a trying evening, shall we say. So let us now visit each of our Thursday's children in turn and see how each one of them goes about screwing their courage to the sticking place, shall we say. So, Father Pav, as you have a moment to yourself alone in your room, how are you trying to mentally fortify yourself to face the day ahead? This would be the time where you would use your memento to recover some conditions.
I didn't actually pick up any conditions last episode.
Oh, you're good.
So I'm all good.
In that case, how are you starting your morning?
I would wake up and have a big stretch and probably head towards someone else that I know that might have suffered some more serious conditions
Okay.
to possibly see if I can aid them in, any way.
Okay. Which one of you suffered the most last night from the encounters that were had? Who is on 2 or more conditions?
I think Ingrid had the most, right?
Ingrid.
Hi,
Okay,
my name is Ingrid, and I make bad decisions.
Yes, Father Pavel, you are aware that Ingrid is having a rough time, so you make your way over to her once you are dressed. We will skip scene briefly. Dr. Anki, how are you starting your morning, and would you like to recuperate somewhat?
With a sigh that could wake the dead, if it wasn't for the fact that Ingrid is already proficient in that matter, it seems. Oh, now I remember that, and I don't want to. Pacing, is it just... I believe we were told that the room has a view.
It does. It's a splendid view of the outside pier, although it is somewhat marred by this heavy, oppressive storm that seems to have rolled in.
Then pacing by the window back and fro, every so often quite a lot, throwing glances out towards the sea, probably being awake for at least half an hour already. Fidgeting with something in a coat pocket, which he eventually brings out, looks at, and it's this small pill compact. Not yet. We have many miles to go yet. And put it back into the pocket resolutely, and head out the door and decide to raise some terror and get something dead to eat.
Wonderful. Regain yourself up to 2 conditions from fortifying yourself using your memento. Crassius, how are you starting your morning?
Just I think my character, just as a general note, I think my character sheet reset on my end. Did
I
I
see.
just have the frightened one
I
from last time?
think you may have done, yes. I think you may have escaped any further harm.
Okay, cool.
My
And that
bad.
wasn't from anything occult. It was from our dear friend Anki.
You're correct, it very much was. But if you would like to recover that all the same, you're more than welcome to.
Yes, I would like to. So I've got a blood-stained promissory note. It's from my last publisher deal, and I would like to be looking at it because this is very much this is like a memento of like something that keeps you like sane, right? Or like recovering.
Yeah, it's
If I'm not mistaken.
it's something that inspires you in some way. So that can be through
yes.
spite, that can be through inspiration,
I like spite.
anything of the sort. Yes.
Yes, no, I know exactly what this is. So I've got my blood-stained promissory note, and it's actually an old contract, but it's one I got out of. So I'm confident that using a similar form of loophole, possibly minus the blood this time, I can get out of my situation. So I'm looking at it going like, I did do that. I'm glad I have Kruger. And I put the note away.
Okay, feeling somewhat more
Reassuring
fortified.
myself.
Absolutely. Retake that condition for me. As your sheet reset, I think you'll be fine.
Okay, cool.
Great. We're going to go to Ingrid last, as she has had the most of the time here. So Kruger, how are you starting your morning?
The way a good soldier does. I will inspect my rifle, making sure that every little piece of it still works perfectly. Everything is cleaned, everything is ready. The bullets that I have are all checked to make sure that everything will work. The traps that I have bought, I am making sure they work as well. I am concentrating on how to best hunt a gigantic boar. And then, as everything begins, the hopelessness from yesterday, the feeling of this giant creature, I've never seen one before, I've never fought one before, and it is definitely something that may or may not kill me. I take out my mirror and begin repeating the words that I was taught at the academy over and over and over again, repeating the words that make me feel stronger, that make me more confident in destroying the VAESEN of the world and ridding the world of creatures that should not exist.
Perfect. Retake your conditions as you begin to feel more like yourself. You sort of force yourself back into control. Ingrid.
Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? We don't know.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Ingrid, you awake on this morning feeling about as rough as you did last night. There is a dark oppression on your mind, much like there is on the rest of the town out here. And as you look out into the morning, you try and peer past the cloud banks to see any remnants of blue, any glimpse of what might be out there other than this storm, but nothing remains. There is this dark, deep pearlescence, bruise-like, over the landscape, and you feel nothing but shame and depression. And how would you like to combat this morning as you wake up in this state?
Okay. I'm going to take a picture out of my pocket, which is my memento. And I'm going to tell the picture of my twin sister all about my day.
Okay. As you do, you sort of expound this tale to this picture that has always somehow given you hope. It is only a 2D image, and yet you can feel the warmth, the essence of your sibling there with you in this moment, and it's a comfort, even in this sort of dark, oppressive daytime, and when the mist and the draft of the storm is sort of rattling at the windows. You find yourself being able to fortify even that voice, those two twin voices now in the back of your mind, the one you're familiar with and the one that is new, the one that was described as a cost for your recent magical exploits. They remain silent throughout this process, one of them out of reverence and one of them out of curiosity. As you sort of bring yourself out of this moment and feel a little more fortified, please retake 2 of your conditions. I will say for this moment, retain the hopeless one, but you may take the other 2 back. As you find yourself coming back to yourself somewhat, you do hear a knock at the door. Father Pavel is standing in the doorway.
Hello, Ingrid. Could I come in for a moment? I think we may need to clear the air, as it were.
Have you got a shovel?
No. I just wanted to apologise. I feel that out of everybody that's found out about what's happened, you've possibly taken it the worst. And I just want to apologise and let you know that I am deeply sorry that if I've hurt you in any way due to my lies, that I felt I needed to continue. And just to let you know that even though I'm not a priest, I am still a good listener. And if you did need to speak to someone, I am more than happy to sit with you and discuss any issues you may be facing.
So the liar is apologizing and expects me to believe him. Is this what you're asking?
I'm asking you to forgive me, firstly.
Alright, well, I am merciful. Almost as merciful as I am attractive.
Almost, not quite.
Almost, but not quite. So, I will do you this deal. You must bring me 1 hair off of Anki's head. I will know if it's Anki's. I could smell it.
Okay. What are you going to do with this hair, just out of interest?
Nothing. I just want to see if you'll do it. It proves to me you're serious about apologizing, and then I'll forgive you.
Father Pavel, roll the empathy inspiration, please.
Don't involve him in your weird kinks. Also, sorry.
I'm in danger.
I couldn't help but crack up then, because see, at one point when you were doing this, because of the camera perspective, it looked like you have a tiny hand.
I got 1 success.
Look at my tiny hands. Sorry.
Fine. Yeah, that's enough. Ingrid, you, as you hear this, you feel somewhat more fortified in this moment. It's true, he has been a conniving, lying son of a gun, and he is perhaps not forgiven just yet, but he has made the effort, and that's not nothing, and that means something to you. That holds water, as far as you're concerned, and you feel somewhat more fortified and a little less hopeless. Please retake that condition for me.
Hooray. Also, I've managed to convince him to do something that's going to totally piss Anki
Oh,
off.
for sure. And the thought of the oncoming shenanigans fuels you enough to be able to retain your senses somewhat. As each of you sort of bring yourselves to the new day, feeling a little better than you did last night, perhaps a little more yourselves than you were, you descend each from your rooms, sort of coming together in the hallway and into the dining area once again. You see the same young woman behind the bar. She's watching the bar's only patrons with great intent. Patrons in question are 3 women, all sat close around a table, picking disinterestedly at their breakfasts and talking in low voices, all are dressed in very dark clothing. When the woman behind the bar sees you all, she sort of looks very, very bashful indeed, sort of pales to a deathly colour, and begins busying herself behind the bar so as not to look at you anymore.
The people who
She
turned up
doesn't get
last
away
night
that
with a
easily,
cop.
I'm sorry.
So
She
how's
looks like
everyone
she hasn't
rested?
slept at all.
Well, Anki will cross the distance towards the bar, knock politely, sort of like, Lisa, was it?
Yes. Good morning, madam.
I hope
You're
so.
all awake. Hello. Good day.
Yes. I have 2 questions, and I hope that they will not be too intrusive or disturbing.
Go
Firstly,
for it.
who do I have? No, that is the wrong start. Is there, by any chance, any coffee?
Yes, there is. Bear with-
Excellent. Then
all
it
of-
is a good morning. Second, you spoke to the constabulary yesterday, was it?
I did.
Oh, tonight, technically.
Yes.
And how did that turn out of curiosity?
Well, first of all, who wants coffee? I'll start making that.
I would love one.
Good. Okay. And she does sort of turn away and start busying her hands while she's telling you this tale. It seems like whilst this memory is very fresh in her mind, and she is still extremely disturbed by what she saw when she exited the hotel and
She's
witnessed
not in
the
the old 2 dead
body.
bodies yet.
Yes. She very much sort of busies herself about the coffee grinder. Says, Officer Jacobson is new in town. He's not originally from here, see? He's from the town opposite. Mum used to deal with him before she disappeared 10 where's it been? 9 days? 10 days? 10 days. He came maybe a week ago to help look for her. So, it's been nice having someone a little more competent around. Our usual force aren't the best. They try, obviously, but this is no one's found her. So, but no, I told him, and he's moved the body. He asked me a few questions. I didn't know any of the answers, but I did say that he could probably catch up with you all today. So, I mean,
Well, I imagine that we were not difficult to find.
no, you're all very distinctive.
That is true. Oh, and seeing as we are talking, you wouldn't happen to know who is staying in room 203?
Oh, 203. Ooh, she goes over to a logbook. Yes, Gracie?
You can't just ask them that. Is that not like a customer security thing?
Certainly, but she has bigger things to worry about. Us.
Yes,
including.
yes, you actually do. Are those beans fresh? Like, are they with the coffee? Is that like today's
Hand
harvest?
on Crash's shoulder. Slight applied pressure to clavicle.
She says, "No, sir. They're imported in. See, we don't have any means to grow coffee here nearby, so they are imported in."
It'll do, I guess.
Oh, good, good. Oh,
Sorry,
well,
go on.
here you go. And she does sort of push it across the table towards you with like creamer and sugar on the table and everything. All the accoutrement. It's actually quite nice.
Do by
very
any chance
rich
have cherries?
Yes, I will go and grab some for you in a minute. They're
Thank you very
glacé, if that's all right. We've had some trouble with the supply lines recently.
It's fine.
Okay. She's sort of thumbing through this book. She says, "Why is it a friend of yours?" I'm
Yes,
saying. Oh, right, 203.
an acquaintance.
203
Through
was the on the tag that you found, was it not?
It was indeed.
Yes. She says, "Oh dear. Yes, that was the poor woman who passed away."
Olga. Yes.
Yes, Olga.
I suspected as much.
She did mention she was going out looking for folks on the night last night. She mentioned that she was going out to the taxi to the stagecoach station to wait for people who were coming. I mean, was that you? No one else has come new to town, so I assume that was you.
It is entirely possible. We were running behind schedule.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's a shame. Well, like I said, if you, I imagine Officer Jacobson has some questions, and well, it's a crying shame, but she sort of leans around you slightly and nods at the three women sat on the table, and she says, "Those three, they were very close with Olga. I think they were friends."
We had a mention of associates, yes.
Yeah, they do know, but obviously, you know, if you're going around, if you're looking for friends of Olga, since Olga herself can't be with you, then that's
Closest acquaintances would be a good thing for me to seek out professionally as well as personally, yes.
I see. Okay. And with that, she does sort of turn away and bustle into the kitchen area in the back, and comes back about a minute later with a small sort of ceramic pot of glacé cherries. Hands them over to you, Alexander.
He puts them in his coffee.
Really weird taste in breakfast.
Meanwhile, Anki's coffee is like 50% cream and sugar at this point.
That's fair.
Did you just want the milkshake?
No. What? No, Ingrid, no.
I'm so confused about your eating habits.
So, if you don't mind me asking...
I do.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
You can
I'm
ask
just,
anyway.
You can ask anyway.
Don't listen to the girl. Go.
What are you doing in Molly? It's not tourist season. I don't know. I find myself awful curious.
Well,
I don't know if you've noticed, but we don't look like your average tourists.
No, you really don't. I thought it politer not to say anything.
It is fine.
We're on a bit of a tour, as it were.
Visiting friend who is now dead.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yes.
Even was recommended to bring a swimsuit in this weather.
Oh,
Imagine my
dear.
surprise.
Quite. What I will say is, since you're staying here at the hotel, it's kind of a safeguarding issue. Maybe stay away from the lighthouse. The man
What's
who
going on
lives...
with...
Sorry. What?
No, go on.
The man who lives there is called Magnus London. He doesn't like us very much here. He didn't like me mum, and he doesn't like me neither. When she disappeared, he seemed awful happy about it.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would he want you and your mum to disappear?
Well, you see, this town never used to be a tourist destination, not till we sort of built everything here and began. My mum built the hotel, and then the industry sort of came with it.
Like a classic rural situation. He doesn't like the new thing coming in, the fancy shinings.
Sounds like a build it and they will come type situation.
Yeah,
That lighthouse man said, "Go away, don't come."
Don't bring us your glacé cherries and coffee.
Yes.
a little
Something
bit.
was mentioned about moral panic.
Yeah, so
Indecency.
he was one of those people. He would come in on occasion and hassle the guests, and we'd have to ask him to leave. And then, we have to go and get the constabulary. It was a whole thing. No, he doesn't like us very much. So since you're all staying here, I thought it prudent to just say maybe stay away from him, stay away from the lighthouse. He's not a very nice man.
Well, people seem to love me wherever I go, so I'm happy to go talk to him if we
Is
really
that
want.
always been
I can see
Yes,
that,
it's
sir.
always. Well, I don't see any reason as to why it isn't true. So, look. Maybe we can sway him with my lovely words.
You've got a very amicable demeanour, sir.
Yeah. See. Look. This person likes me. Sorry. What was your name again?
Lisa, sir.
Yeah. So Liza loves me already.
Is that the impression I'm giving off?
Yes.
Am I loving? Anki,
Yes.
am I
You
loving?
seem to. You've got a whole kind of aesthetic going on, and it's a little bit, it's ominous to say the least. But other than that, I think we're good, and I think you've got a whole, got a very specific niche demographic that you're going for, and you're just nailing it. You're marketable in publishing terms.
I'm marketable?
Yeah, like you've got your whole weird ball thing and.
You've got weird ball things too.
Yes,
Like
but I
when
don't
you
bring them out
take,
in public and look at dead people.
I was talking about your head, you dirty What the
Oh.
Get your head out of your ass, swine!
Oh, sorry. Well, it's quite far up there sometimes, I do admit.
Alright, okay, enough about him. Let's move.
Okay.
Yes. I believe we have some people to talk to, including the officer and the 3 friends.
Well, let me know. Let me know if you need anything else. I'll just be here behind the bar.
I would like
We
some
shall,
eggs.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. And she does bustle off into the kitchen to fry you up some eggs.
Dr. Anki's writing down a recipe.
Oh, good.
Does it contain eggs, coffee, and cherries? by any chance?
No, it contains potatoes and pig's blood.
Yes, the 5 food groups.
I
As
got
you-
you 4 basic food groups: beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard.
Atlantis! Sorry.
As you all sort of turn away from this desk here, you do see that the 3 women who were sat at the tables have actually stopped their conversation and seem to be paying you somewhat more of attention pertaining to your subject matter that you were discussing. They seem a little bit more intrigued, and one of them, sort of a larger woman, sort of very, very well dressed, lovely raven black smooth hair, is sort of steepled her hands, and she's just watching you all as the other 2 continue their conversation.
Hello.
I'm going to walk over with my cup of coffee.
I'm following. Like, behind, like a weird little, like,
Excellent. I
tiny
need a loving
legged-
personality with me. Somebody to make up for my rough demeanor, I suppose.
I'll
Yes.
come. Whoever wants.
Fantastic. As you all approach, you see alongside this sort of more heavy-set woman with her her lovely fur wrap and her dark hair is alongside a slightly more mousy-looking lady, possibly more young in age. She looks more 18-ish, 18, 20, you're not entirely sure. Wearing like a large white collar, dark clothing, a little more threadbare. Very skinny, almost wiry, skinny like a hanger. And the third one seems more serious, more severe. She kind of gives off the energy of a school teacher, but a very goth school teacher, like a goth teacher who rolled out of Hot Topic and kept going. And now she's
This
here.
woman being one of my people.
And they both kind of they give you a look, but they don't necessarily go to converse with you. The larger woman, however, does look at you and says, You've come to say good morning, have you?
It
Yes.
would have been rude to do so late last night.
I quite agree. Although I think we all had somewhat of a rude awakening, did we not?
Also, yes.
So you knew Olga?
Yes.
I see. How did that relation come about?
Well,
Well,
specifically
specifically.
through... Is there an echo, Ingrid?
No, I just wanted to know what you're going to say. It's going to be hilarious.
We are or we're going to be introduced via the contact of one Linnea Elfclint.
Ugh, he went with the truth. Ugh.
Oh, little Lily. Goodness gracious.
Little Lily sent us to see to her friend, Little Ogo.
Oh, goodness. Well, I wasn't aware that Olgo had contracted outside help,
Friends.
but yes, but whilst you're here, I must say I'm glad to hear it. It's a little hard to trust people these days, but knowing that you know Linnea has it holds water with me.
Well, I do not wish to make assumptions, or any sort of umptions about anything right now.
Right.
Because, as you say, trust and facts are far between.
Mhm.
But considering the death of Olga and the notes and information that she gave unto us, you would be the friends of hers I mentioned, and also perhaps the ones more than marginally concerned with your own well-being for the moment.
Ah, they filled you in that. Sit down. Let us lower our voices somewhat. And she does sort of cast a glance over at the kitchen, but it is completely deserted in here apart from you guys. And you hear the clinking and clattering and the hiss of a stove being humming to life, the hiss of firewood lighting, which suggests that maybe Lisa will be a little while yet with your breakfast. You will manage to sit down around this table.
As we do, I look over at Father Powell, then do that sort of
You know.
an Anki. Like, I'm looking at Father Powell and just kind of like towards Anki like that, like
We were made aware that these people are witches, right?
You were made aware that there are the people you were looking for definitely casting. Yeah, they've been casting. they've been doing the magic. Yeah.
I like this place. It seems cool.
It certainly has its charms, doesn't it? It's a little bit of a warring aesthetic in the town.
Yeah, tell me more in excruciating detail. I would love to hear all of it.
You look a trifle familiar, sir.
Oh, I don't see why. Well, where would you have go on?
Were you? No. Were you the one giving talks
Well,
in Stockholm a year ago?
Well, yes. Well, possibly. Well, what specifically? I just couldn't think of a whole reason as to why. I may or may not have definitely been.
I believe it was a signing of some sort.
Oh yes, what did you? Are you tell me your thoughts. I would love to know.
Well, I thought that your voice is quite stunning. The content is very peculiar.
Yes, it's thought provoking, and revolutionary for the times. You know, I love a good a yarn, and put them down on the paper.
oh no, you're
kinda-
feeding his ego.
Yes, no, please do more. I love it.
Stockholm, where integrity and character goes to die.
Yes, so the people in Stockholm were very good. More than half of them, almost half of the population came here, and I'm not sure why. Like, so many people just stuck around with me for so long. It was just like a whole thing, and there was just people everywhere, you know.
Can imagine.
And you know, you stick around, and then you make some lifelong fans in Stockholm, you know.
That must be difficult. I imagine you cannot move for the attention.
Oh yes, it was a whole thing, but rather interesting at the very least. Hey, sorry, I could sign anything if you want, and he just pulls out a book.
Yes, by all means. Hang on. She does sort of pull out what seems to be some sort of dark, thickly bound leather book.
Oh,
it's
don't remember printing this one.
It's a very thick leather. It's nothing like you've really seen before. The texture seems odd. Very thick pages, and she just slide it across to you, and she says, "Oh, if you just copy out your signature down in there, I'd be most grateful."
Do I open it and there's like a line where I should be putting a signature?
Let's have a roll with this. Let's have a logical learning roll to see if you can.
Because I know what a contract looks like.
For sure.
I've been involved
You've been in
in almost
publishing enough.
too many
Absolutely.
at this point. If this is a damn contract,
You have a lot of contract knowledge. I'm willing to give you 2 additional die for this because you
The
are
line in
quite
the
correct.
sand, don't read the Latin.
How many is that? Because is that logic and
Don't read
learning?
it.
I've got 2 on that. So I got 2 extra on the logic and learning, and then you're doing 2. Is that?
You add an additional 2 to your pool, so that's additional 2d6s.
Would that be 7 then?
That would be 7, I reckon. Yeah.
I got 1 6.
1 6. from what you can see, this just seems to be a sort of a handwritten book, but it does contain a fair amount of your notes in there.
My notes.
Yeah.
So reading through this a little, I see you've made some copies of my notations. Where I don't think I published that book. Where did you get this?
Oh, this is simply my own notes of people in your field, let's say. I've had several such authors sign this for me.
Sorry, what is your field again?
Oh, I am all sorts of all over the place. I am a bit
That's
of
very vague.
I'm a varied academic, one might say.
Okay.
My specialty lies in the occult and the oddities of the world.
Okay. It's because I've got a note that I didn't write in one of my published materials that you've written word for word verbatim here.
Really?
So, yeah, it says.
How strange.
It said, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head that he
Yep,
would have
that's
written. But like, it says this, and that. You know, it's just. Forgive me. It's a bit
On the nose.
specific.
Okay.
Not at all. Well, if you are uncomfortable giving me your signature, I shall.
Oh no,
simply ask them
I
up.
love a good signature. I immediately just write it in anyway. It's
Oh,
not a
fantastic.
contract, so we're good.
Oh, thank you, darling. Now,
It's
Ingrid's beaming from ear to ear. She's loving this.
onto business, though. To call it business is a trifling thing in such trying times, obviously. But we have found ourselves in somewhat of a bind. You do see. After we concluded some of our more intensive investigations of a cave in the local area, we found ourselves beset by some sort of creature. And personally, I do not see any benefit to us in going out and dealing with it, seeing as well, one of ours simply got murdered upon trying to do so.
Now- yes. No, go on. Sorry.
No, not at all. It's a bit of a predicament, you see. One entirely self-made, unfortunately. We simply did not investigate the area in which we were working well enough. We seem to have disturbed something that was there. We do need outside help in order to resolve this, as once again, if we try and resolve it ourselves, I foresee it simply ending in tragedy.
And would you be able to show us where this all is? I have a feeling that if your notes of my writing are any kind of indication of this, would this happen to be what specifically is troubling you out there?
Well, you see, it is
Witch
a...
hunter.
Well, kind of. I wouldn't say it's a witch hunter. It's since you're friends with Lily, I assume you are aware of perhaps greater sight than one might normally have.
We weren't born on Fridays.
Precisely, my dear, precisely. It specifically targets those of that nature in order to, you see, those who are born on, let us say, for argument's sake, a Thursday, seem to be predisposed to having bloodlines of significant power. These creatures seem to feast on those, and it is unpleasant. But if you can remain undetected, it will leave you alone. And if you do not desecrate its place of summoning, it will also leave you alone. We inadvertently did the latter, and therefore we are not being left alone.
Excellent. Has anyone? So with sorry, go on. Yes. Can you take us there? I would love for you to show us. You specifically.
Me specific. Well, you see, darling,
Yes.
I have trouble leaving this in, for if I do, the creature will very much tear me limb from limb.
Very fair. How do we find it otherwise then? If you cannot, well, let's say, help us out with this.
You
know
have
the
well-kept
lighthouse?
notes?
Do you have notes?
Yes. Yes, we did have one actually in Olga's room of a place called the Rooting Cave.
We've heard of that place.
Yes, it is below Lighthouse Hill. It's down a
Yes.
skinny alleyway.
Just above where the teens. So there's that point just near the lighthouse where the teens go in. Sorry, that's unsavory. But you know, I know the place. I'm familiar. Yes.
Right. It is there in which we cast our ritual, and there in which we encountered catastrophe. But I will say the summoning of a Glosson, it often involves a very violent death of something else. Therefore, I'm a little concerned that perhaps, as she looks back at the kitchen, that perhaps another tragedy may have occurred.
That would certainly explain the disappearance of the proprietor.
Yes, which is why I'm not saying it in front of the girl, if you understand.
Yes, and I'm just having thoughts on this. Okay, well, you've set up a very ominous tone with this, and then you've said a violent outburst, and there's only five of us going. So by that logic, someone out of us is going to meet a gruesome fate. Now, be as it may, that if that's the case, is this like a human-based violence you're talking about, or are animals typically also at risk of this? Like, what's the parameters here?
Well,
How viciously would one have to kill a cat for this to work?
Yes, it's a cat. Definitely a cat.
No, it is usually the casualty is more sentient.
So a parrot.
So not Ingrid then.
As you're all discussing this, one of the younger women, the skinny woman, she says, "I think I left something in the room. Bear with me, dear. I'll be right back." And she sort of puts a hand on the large woman's shoulder, pats it, and she says, "Well, hurry back. Don't go getting lost again." "I won't." And she sort of gives you all a terse nod and then awkwardly makes her way around the chairs and out of the dining room. She seems to be heading into the back of the hotel. Can everyone, as she opens the door and heads down the hallway, please make me a logic and vigilance test?
Logic and vigilance.
Ooh, I got 1-6.
Got 1, 2, 2, 2, 2.
1.
Okay.
One.
I have my suspicions, and as you know, my suspicions are often correct.
One's all round. One's all round? One's all round.
Yeah.
Okay. All of you.
Seriously, haven't had a single paddle yet.
All of you.
Why?
Why? Why would you say it?
Yeah,
Why?
what are you
Don't
doing?
bring it up. Don't address it.
Yeah.
All of you managed to hear sort of. It's difficult to ascertain what it is at first, but as you begin to hear this creak, and the creak of maybe a foot on a floorboard, and then the creak of a rusted hinge perhaps opening down a hallway, you get the idea that maybe this person has not in fact headed back to the room as they were saying.
Okay.
Can I just talk to the what was her name? Just the person in the room we were just talking to?
She hasn't actually given you her name yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What was your name, dear?
Clara, darling.
Clara. I really think this would be a good opportunity for you to get out and have a bit of a row with society. So, I would love for you to accompany us with this, and then it would be good for everyone involved, I would say. And I want to use my manipulation to try and convince them, or lying, because I've got +2 in both.
Oh, yeah, sure. Roll me an
Try and just
empathy
go,
manipulation test.
I would love for you to come out and then just like fluff the ego and give her reasons as to why this is a good idea.
Of course. I will make this an opposed roll then, since this is something she actively doesn't want to do. But please
It was not, in fact, a good idea.
roll me your empathy and manipulation.
All right, so that's a 7 dice then.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
1-6.
1-6. Okay.
Yeah.
She looks at you for a moment, and you can see that she's considering it. As you're talking, and she says, "Yes, I suppose we could join you at a later time, but
Yes, field
unfortunate-
experience,
Quite. No, I quite agree. But unfortunately, I think I may need to go and just check on someone. If you would give me but a moment.
Yeah.
Frida, would you accompany me?" And the two get up and say, "I'm ever so sorry. Please do excuse me," and head towards the first floor of the hotel.
As they're walking, I just very sort of to myself just going, if you leave the building, you're going to be killed by a giant boar.
Yes, one would hate to see that specifically happen.
we're quite aware. And one of
They were
and
very flippant with that.
Yes, they appear to be completely nonplussed with that remark, and they do head up to the first floor of the inn.
Are they gone
Leaving Yep, they leave you alone in the lobby.
Okay, good. So they're weird, right?
Yes.
Very much
Says
so.
the man trying
Okay.
to get the girl to go on a date to go looking for a pig that's going to kill her.
Oh no, this wasn't a date. They specifically said one of us is going to die. So if they're going to manipulate us into dying, we should do the same to them.
I think
No, they did not say that.
That's what it sounded like to me. If they didn't, then I have read
No,
this
you
situation
see-
incredibly wrong.
I think
Incredibly
there
wrong.
might be a
They
case
said,
of what.
They said, in order to summon a glossin, you need to
Yeah,
do
violent
the
acts.
killing. The glossin's already here.
I think it is that
It's already
in the
been
grand scheme,
summoned.
but I would not be shocked if they try to feed us.
Okay,
to-
so if
to,
another violent act happened, would that
I
not
don't
make
know.
the glossin?
No, it would make
Go
two
away.
glossin. I don't.
Person?
Well,
I
we
will
could
take-
either follow and ask them.
They were trying
Yes,
to
that's fine.
tell us that they think that the whereabouts of the mother is actually just glossin.
Food.
Yes.
could all of you please roll me another logic and vigilance test?
The smartest
Ah,
idea would be that the man at the lighthouse is the one with the stick. Yes.
Also, I completely agree. That was my theory. I heard of it first. Bye.
it seems to be the going one.
Very Scooby-Doo of them.
You
3.
Thank
Wow.
you fucking paveled me.
I'm Paveled.
Pavel,
Pavel.
you-
Paveling it.
I got a big 0.
All of
Okay,
your
current
Pavels
Pavel
went to
count is
Pavel.
3.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Father Pavel with 3 successes. You look around as you're sort of discussing this. You hear the clinking in the kitchen. You hear of a door sliding back into the latch. From the sound of it, it seems to be some sort of metal door, and from the scraping, it seems to be going over dirt and grit, so you can infer that perhaps an outside door. And as you're mulling this over, you look over to the side and you see through the windows of the hotel a very tall, lanky man come into view and begin talking with 2 sort of very practically dressed people who seem to be heading on their way to work. It's a man of tall, wiry build, salt and pepper hair. He has a tall cap decorated by a silver badge, wearing a smart pressed blue uniform, carries a saber in its scabbard and a baton hung from his waist, half hidden under a half cloak, and a whistle hanging from his neck.
I get the feeling that the man from the lighthouse is outside.
This is a police officer. You
I
would know
believe
that.
that will be the police
Oh,
officer
okay.
that we are meant to be speaking to.
Ah, fair enough.
What with the corpse that we brought in.
Yes, very true.
And luckily the 3 Baba Yagas have gone upstairs, so we are free to speak.
Oh, can we look at the kitchen?
Sure, you can find out where my eggs are.
You.
I would love to go check that out. They were very intimately interested in it.
You're right, my eggs. You're interested
sure.
intimately in my breakfast.
Yes. Breakfast.
At least be thankful it's only those eggs.
Yeah, for sure. You head over towards the bar area and peer in. You see Lisa busily bustling around inside the kitchen. She seems to be alone in there. And as you're sort of watching, she puts these eggs from a frying pan onto a plate and makes her way back outside.
Oh, so it is fairly above board on that one?
Yeah, from the looks of things, you can't see anything too odd in there.
All right, I leave a book on the counter and then I just go.
I see. Fantastic.
I put my recipe as a bookmark in the book. It has written at the top of it, in case we survive the day.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah,
Right.
she comes back out and places this plate of eggs on the table, Ingrid.
I'm gonna stand up, ready for when the policeman sort of walks into the room.
I
to
eat
greet.
them with my hands.
Okay. You're all waiting for him. Okay. Easy enough. It takes him about 5 minutes. He's talking to these dock workers outside the hotel. Father Pavel, since you're keeping watch of this exchange, you see very much as one of the dock workers peers inside the window and points at you. And the police officer nods, tips his cap, and makes his way inside the hotel. Biz is very purposefully makes his way over to you. Says, "Good morning, everybody."
Morning.
Good morning. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Officer Jacobson. It has been brought to my attention that you were the first discoverers of the body of the deceased last night.
Yes, that is
Unless one
correct.
would count the possibility of somebody killing them, leaving them there, in which case they probably discover them being dead first, but yes.
My name is Pavel, and I'll put my hand out to shake his.
Charmed.
Yes.
And he does shake your hand.
And then I'll walk around the table and be like, "This is Alexander Kruger." And I'll put my hand on
Sergeant
his shoulder.
Alexander Kruger.
Sergeant, sorry. Ingrid, and I'll put my hand on her shoulder as well.
Hello?
This is Dr. Anki, and as I put my hand on her shoulder, I'm gonna try and almost get a hair caught in my ring.
Oh
as
my
I'm
god.
trying to-
Okay. Christ, what am I going to make you roll to try to covertly pull out someone's hair? I think
Precision agility?
Precision and stealth.
precision and
Precision
stealth
and
has to be
stealth.
the one, yeah.
Am I opposing this?
I'm going to give him a set difficulty for this.
Whoa.
Oh, I don't have stealth as a
What's
thing.
your vigilance
bloody
modifier,
boggart.
Dr. Anki?
Vigilance is 2.
I see.
I mean, reasonably, he
am
does
I
it,
being
but that's-
You are rolling me precision and stealth, sir. Stop your shenanigans.
I mean, either way, he's going to do it, but whether or not he does it quietly.
Yes.
Unbeknownst to you, Dr. Anki has fortified their hairs with titanium.
I believe that, honestly, I would.
No.
No,
They
no.
call me a
Did
platinum
you just
blonde.
pavel
Dr.
it?
Anki, Dr. Anki,
I've
you
got
very
3
much
dice.
feel as Father Pavel rips a hair out of your head for some ungodly reason.
Given that there is a police officer currently looking at me because I'm being introduced, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Anki is just going to look above her shoulder, face Dr. Pavel's eyes, and then immediately turn back to the police officer as if nothing happened, but with the implicitly information being conveyed of, you have some explanations to do, boy.
I would like to choke on my eggs, please.
Yeah. That's not bloody hard after seeing that exchange.
And then and last but not least, this is you may well have heard of them. This is Crassius.
Yes, thank you, officers. Did you know Kruger's a sergeant? He technically outranks almost all of us here. So I feel like he would be very good at with your report stuff if you ever need a hand with it. Let's look over at Kruger.
That's good to know. I shall keep that in mind.
Yes, he's good at autopsies if you need someone to check out things on the field as well.
I see.
Yes.
I was the one who found the body.
Oh, you found the body, I see. Was it in the state that it was when you found it outside of the hotel?
It was not outside the hotel. We brought it into the village. We were when we got off the caravan. That is where it was. The woman looks like she has been attacked by a wolves or a bear,
Gruesome.
or perhaps a large boar. But where would they even be at this time of year? It seems like an
In this
animal
part of
attack.
the
I do
country,
not believe
you'd be
that
surprised.
any person would do this amount of viscera to a person.
Yes, quite right. Well, what I would say is if you would do me the favor of staying in town until we could resolve this investigation. Obviously, there is the potential of foul play at foot that we cannot rule out at present.
Basically,
I
he's
just
doing
turn around.
him
I
up
turn-
suspicious.
Dr. Anki, hello?
Yes, could I medicine to describe exactly why, in a very educated bullshitting, everything that Alexander Kruger said is true and correct?
Yeah.
Can I also do that?
Sure. Fuck it.
I'm gonna
Let's.
help
Everyone
by
back me
staying
up.
quiet.
I would love to. I just sit here spooky. I'm his hype man.
Who has the highest empathy manipulation out of the two of you?
I got +2,
It would be him.
so I'd be rolling 7.
Okay, if you roll your 7 dice, Crassius, and add an additional 2 dice for the help of your friends.
So I'm bloody rolling 9.
Just
Yeah.
Yes, because
I
you
never
sure
have
as shit
dice.
ain't gonna get Anki to manipulation. She's just providing
that's
you medical
10,
legitimacy.
right? Wouldn't it be 10? If you've got 7 and then plus us.
Well, how? So I'm still not super familiar how this works. I've got in my empathy, I've got 4,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then I've got +2 manipulation for lying,
Yep.
6.
and then on my skills thing there's a +2,
Yep.
Yep.
So is that 10 total?
That's 10 total, yes.
Okay, so I've rolled 7 so far, and I've got 1 6. Need
Fantastic.
to roll 3 more.
Yes, please.
Okay, so 1 6 total.
1 6 total, that's enough. You explain with the help of Dr. Anki providing you specific details in her medical capacity as a doctor. She flashes her credentials. He seems satisfied. Crassius, you sort of manage to hype this up as you do, sort of providing
so good at it.
oh,
He's
it was
just so
terrible. There
good.
was blood everywhere. It is viscera. It is horrible. Oh, woe is me. The terror, the horror, the horror.
Yes.
And he seems, oh dear, and very empathetic and all of that. Kruger, you're very much logically explaining how sort of your legitimacy with animal attacks and how you've come across these sorts of things before. And between all of you, he does seem satisfied at the end of about 10 minutes of explaining this to him. And he
I love
sort
that
of
Kruger looks exactly the kind of person that has dealt with a bear.
yeah, exactly.
He's wearing a
Yeah,
fur
so it
coat
only
and
helps.
has a bear trap over his shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
We did buy that, didn't we?
You get the feeling that lends you legitimacy, if anything. And at the end of this sort of 10-minute period, he says, very well. Well, it is certainly good to see that we have such sound minds in town for this. But as I say, if you would remain in the vicinity, I may have additional questions as the case progresses. Thank you for your time. And he does doff his cap and make his way out of the hotel again. And you are left alone.
So I watch him leave, and I just turn around. I'm like, oh, that was good. That was just so good.
Did you see how I helped by not telling him that I asked her myself?
Yes, I love the way that you kept quiet and didn't tell the truth, because that, honestly, I think if you had have mentioned in any slide of the word that you talked to the fucking body,
Mind blown.
that would have been us.
And I'll
like
sort
it
of
stated
slightly
as well,
walk around
like-
and just give like Ingrid the hair that I acquired.
When Ingrid was choking on her eggs, Kruger will have just walked very quietly behind her and bashed her on the back to cough it out of her, a little too hard.
Yeah, of course.
Because he knows she's a witch. He's just very angry about it.
Yeah, of course.
It's alright, I'll still eat the egg.
As you're all sort of going about this exchange and sort of coming down from that interrogation almost, the door of the hotel opens once more. And there is a younger person standing there, maybe a young man, 25-ish, scruffy hair, thick jacket, where it has a courier bag to his side, and he looks around and he goes, are you the people who arrived last night?
Who's
Yes.
asking? Yes.
Courier, I got something for you. He does. He walks over and he hands something to you, Dr. Anki, and
I
just
take
says,
it.
"Don't worry about it. It was paid in advance." Turns on a seal and leaves. You
Amusingly, that worries me even more.
you look down at
How does
this.
he know? He found us without the address.
There is
I mean-
only one hotel.
You get the feeling that this is usually the place that visitors from out of town come.
Okay, yeah.
You look down at this piece of paper. It is a yellow piece of parchment. Once again, it looks like it's been torn out of some sort of journal, lined pages. There's the elements of script at the top that has been torn apart from. It says, in very familiar handwriting, "Look up and you will find friends," and it is signed with a paw print.
I look up.
I was going to say the same.
Sick. I also wanted to look up, but I'm like, Kruger wouldn't do it. Don't do it.
Can all of you make a logic and learning test, please?
Oh,
I
bugger.
have been waiting for this moment for all
Logic.
of this week.
5.
Can I push my luck?
Of course you can.
I got 1.
1. Fantastic.
I got 1.
Great.
Good, Sorrel.
Hello.
Pavel.
I do. Oh, Pavel, adding down to the count. One moment. Do you recall whether or not Anki used the advantage of logic learning last session?
I don't think she did. So
Then I
feel-
will add
Feel
this.
free to add it, yes.
Wonderful.
I got something to. I
Logic?
Ingrid,
Learning.
as you push your luck, you are going to, what should we say? You are going to be thinking about everything that's happened recently, and you specifically think back to how on that island you parted ways with who you assume wrote this letter, and that memory comes back to you in a moment of flashing terror in the back of your mind as you remember the herring baron, that stench of perfume and deep stinking fish scent, the way that your consciousness was ripped from you and you were forced against your will down into the darkness to become something that you were not and you have no intention of ever being. And you remember the voice in the back of your head being afraid. You've never had that before. And you're going to take the frightened condition for me as you remember this horrible memory.
Beans.
For the rest of you, with one success, you hung out with Alexander. You're not quite so sure on this point, but between the rest of you, you know Esther well enough to know that A, that is Tova's paw print, and B, when she says look up and you'll find friends, she's probably referring to you as friends in the royal sense, as in more referring to your organization.
Ingrid stares, staring at the ceiling for a bit.
I think they were talking about something less literal, Ingrid.
I probably
Alexander
think you're right.
again, like Snape, just back to eggs.
Yes, Ingrid, you do recall that last time you recovered a journal that potentially pertained to a nearby society headquarters.
Mm-hmm. All right, so if we look up... Where is up?
There is the second floor.
Let's go upstairs!
I hope I'm not wrong.
Let's go upstairs, let's go upstairs. I finished my eggs, let's go upstairs.
Okay.
We spent a long time. I hope they're still there.
What are you looking for specifically?
Headquarters.
Friends.
Headquarters. Okay. You're looking for evidence of the society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Could all of you please roll me logic and vigilance, please, or logic and investigation, whichever's better for you.
1, 2, 3.
I for nothing.
Vigilation gives me an extra
That's
dice.
a fresh hot 0.
That's one powerful for you
dear.
guys then.
Beans.
Oh no.
Wait, what? Who said beans? Why did you say beans?
Because I got a 0.
I want more coffee. That's got
That's
beans in
fair. That's fair. Okay, for those of you who rolled a 1, as you're all wandering around this hotel, you sort of poke around and you can't seem to see anything, and you're getting to the point where you're like, oh, this is ridiculous, and you sort of look out over the rest of the township. You very much see that alongside this building, sort of eye level with you on the second floor of this establishment, there are a few other buildings that are about the same height, sort of a few farmhouses topped with spires, obviously the nearby lighthouse. There is sort of a what looks like a community hall that is about the same height as well. Dr. Anki, with your 2 successes, you come away from this investigation knowing one thing very surely. The Society is an extremely old organization. This hotel is very new.
Yes.
You doubt that any establishment related to the Society would be hidden in a new building.
Well, it seems like it would be the oldest, or some of the oldest buildings then. Which does draw me towards the lighthouse, but that may just be because there is the point of conflict there. I suppose we could ask the girl.
Why
being
don't we
local
just
and
go
everything.
and knock on all the doors?
Oh, because I
There's
believe that if we
Sorry, continue.
I believe that if we go and knock on every door, we will be spending a lot of time outside and eventually be set upon by the Grosso.
Okay, what would you like to do?
Well, did you want to try to find our missing coven who has not returned, left under false pretenses, or would we like to question the poor child who may or may not have lost her mother? After which we should definitely see if we cannot either find the friends or discover the cave.
You described one of the doors as sounding as if it was an outside gate, correct?
Mm-hmm. Father Pavel heard a door that he could
Yes.
not see opening as if it ejected onto the outside, yes.
Where did you hear it opening from?
Wasn't it through the kitchen, or was I?
It was on the lower floor, but it wasn't through the kitchen. It seemed to be onto the lower floor rooms.
Hmm.
May I go have a look?
Of course you can.
I insist.
You exit through the dining room. There is a sort of a small door beside the kitchen that leads into a corridor where the lower rooms are, sort of sequestered off from the main area. Looking down this hallway, you see very clearly it's quite dark back here since it is a slap bang in the middle of the house. There are no windows allowing directly onto it. But at the very end of this hallway, there is a steel door that seems to be ejecting into the outside of the hotel, and it is ajar.
You said that there was
There's
a
a door.
storm brewing outside, right? It's a blizzard, so snow.
The storm is, it's not actively snowing, but it is a very heavy, oppressive day.
Is there snow on the ground?
Yeah.
So are there tracks leading out of the back of this house?
Yeah, you sort of push open the door, hearing that rusted creak of protesting hinges, and look outside, and there's very much recognizable fresh boot prints leading away from this hotel.
Does anyone fancy a walk?
I love walks.
Yes.
I was
Do
muted.
you
I love a
prefer
good
to
stroll.
Come on, Pavel, let's go. I grab
You can continue
grab
to
Pavel by a sleeve.
search the hotel if you like.
Okay,
Outside.
Kruger, please roll me your tracking roll. I believe that is your, let's have a look.
Yes. Bloodhound.
What do you usually roll for me?
Vigilance.
Vigilance, fantastic. So yeah, that's your vigilance, logic, and tracking then, please.
Yep. That would be -3. Vigilance is 1. And then I get another 2. Hooray for me. Thank you, creaky mic stand. You're the best.
And is anyone helping him as you begin to traipse away through the snow out into the cold of Morley?
Yes.
Okay.
If only because it will distract me from being mad at Pavel.
Okay, add an additional dice for Dr. Anki's help, please.
I think I'm also coming too, so I will help.
Okay, 2 additional dice,
And I
please.
dragged Pavel with me.
Fantastic. I mean, you're all going, I think.
Yeah.
Everyone's out for a stroll.
So, do you want me to add 2
Oh,
more for
yeah.
Cassius and
2
Pavel?
additional dice, please.
Good
Yes.
lord.
Unless Crassi is planning on staying in the inn by himself.
No, Crassus
Oh no,
is coming.
I'm definitely have a little walkie do, but I'm not good at any kind of tracking.
Not a
We are not
problem.
leaving him behind ever.
As you all make
Yes,
your way
good.
through the snow, you follow Kruger's lead, and he, as you watch, he is very adept at what he seems to be doing. He follows the tracks for a few feet, looks very intently at the ground, seems to follow a scent that only he can sense as he turns his head left and right, and then continues straight forwards. As you keep following this track, you find your way towards the northernmost track of this town. You find yourself following the footsteps of the exact path you took last night, to the point where you begin to recognize buildings, you begin to recognize landmarks as you make your way through this town. And it's as you're about halfway there, maybe a few streets away from where you headed last night, away from the graveyard and the church, that you hear red light. You hear a sickening crunch from nearby. You hear a crunch and impact, and you hear 2 very heavy oak doors being flung wide open and making impact against stone as something brittle collides with a hard surface, followed by that same wet sound of tearing. You, I assume, race towards this sound?
Yeah,
You race towards the sound and
even
come
very
across...
much.
faster than before.
Okay,
If I see that old man, I'm taking a beeline for him. I'm going to beat him to death with his own stick.
of course. Hello, Dr. Anki.
No, I was just curious. Is Kruger currently carrying the elephant gun?
When is he not?
Fair enough.
As you race all towards this sound, you come across a sight much like before. This time beside the church, or by the door of the church, actually. The dark interior has been revealed, as the doors have been burst open from the inside with considerable force. Much like Olga, the body of the spindly Josephine has been torn open from the inside with considerable force. Much like Olga, the body is torn asunder. It's a mess of body parts and spilled guts. Her face betrays terror and shock as she lies half sprawled, half in and half out of the church's doors, hand outstretched towards the rest of the town as though trying to reach for help that didn't come. Like Olga, the snow is marred by the dark, ink-like splotches of blood leading away towards the graveyard.
Is she dead?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right. Ree. Sorry, I've forgotten the name. Yes.
Ingrid.
Grid.
Ingrid.
It's okay, I answered it both.
You have the ability, right? Still.
Hey, voice head.
Hello. Can I help you?
Can I do it again?
Unfortunately, that was only good for the one. So sorry. Although I will say that I do still have to collect that cost from you, don't I?
Oh, is that why you're here in head?
Yes, it is. Now, I'll tell you what you can do for me
All right.
in return, and perhaps I'll throw you a bone.
Bum. Yes, continue.
Aren't we funny?
Oh, so funny. Please tell me.
In return for me perhaps giving you another avenue by which to ask one question of this poor deceased person, I will ask of you that you find this headquarters that you keep talking about, for I wish very much to see it.
To see it what? It sounded like you weren't quite finishing that sentence there, Sugar.
No, I'm not questioning it. I'm quite serious.
How badly do you guys want to ask this girl one question? She says to everybody else.
I think you should do it. It could be like the direct clue or something, but I also don't pay the cost, so I have no stake in this.
Incidentally, you can they hear both halves of the conversation?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah. So what? Sorry, just relay the cost again. Was there a cost said?
Yeah, the voice that you can hear from echoing slightly just behind and above Ingrid's left shoulder seems to be asking you to show it the society headquarters that seems to be here in the town. In
To what
exchange.
end? Says Anki, already looting the corpse.
Yeah, I don't think
that-
anything good will come of that. Personally.
No, I would have a stake in that one, so I say don't do it.
I think we should at least first try to see what we can find in this local vicinity before.
Could we manipulate the voice at all?
Sure, go for it. What are you trying to manipulate it to do?
Oh, sorry, I'll wait for Anki.
Okay, Dr. Anki, you don't
Unless
even
you wanted to go first, Alexander, because you seem to have an idea. No.
I
Doc-
didn't stick
hello.
around.
Oh,
I
okay.
saw blood going towards the graveyard, and Alexander bolted.
Duck.
Right,
Oh.
cool.
Okay. In
right.
that case, just real quick. Ingrid,
Yes.
and whoever is listening in, isn't it apparent that we're going there anyway? So you will see it whether or not you want to put that as a price or not. So the cost will be paid either which way, because you points to next to Ingrid's head.
Little to the
Evidently are
left.
not leaving.
Little to the left.
Little to the left.
Little to the left.
There you go.
can
Evidently
you,
you're
like-
not leaving anyway. So
Can you like see through her eyes or anything? Like, have you got vision?
When I can be bothered.
Okay, cool. So that means you're going to already see where we go at all times if you wish to. So that means that we can already uphold the end of the deal whether you like it or not. So I think we've got a freebie on this one.
Well, then I simply won't give you what you ask.
Isn't that exactly?
Well, then
what
we
I
simply
just
won't,
said?
we'll just put a cloth
Blindfold
over her
do it,
eyes.
Ingrid.
Yeah, we'll just do it all the time. And I'm sure Ingrid would be fine if it protects her safety. And I look over and I'm like, just roll with it.
So, do you want my gift or don't you?
I don't consent.
I'm just
to
saying that you're going to get what you want either way, so throw us a bone.
I was going to.
then we are not arguing. And
Simply
it
me
is
being-
it is a bargain, and it hasn't
Yeah,
been made. Ingrid, pay.
Simply me being nice.
We're not out any money in this, so
Well, you heard the good doctor. On doctor's orders, I've been told to pay you. So, yeah, sure, why not?
Fantastic. And you begin to feel a sort of fizzing in your fingertips, Ingrid, as you feel a surge begin to rush through your veins. Something akin to adrenaline, but perhaps a little sharper. Dr. Anki, as you rifle through this person's pockets, trying to sort of get a view of it, you don't even need to make me a roll. You have seen this before. It's the exact same situation as it was last night, the exact same pattern of wounds, the exact same cause of death. And once again, there is very little on their person apart from their room key and a few bits of change.
We
I
have
know
one
that
question, so don't go running your mouth.
We will split scene ever so shortly. Kruger, as you race towards the graveyard, you follow this trail of blood. I'm going to say, can coast on that previous roll since you're still looking for the same stuff. You're following the same trail. You run through this graveyard past the mausoleums, past the tumble down gravestones, past the crumbling times gone by of these symbols of death and the memento mori that are now being reclaimed by the earth and by the vines. And you sprint past this into the wider fields. Glancing left and right, you see that there is a path that leads around the graveyard through the town and away from it towards Lighthouse Hill, through a copse of trees that loom large on either side and bend their will towards each other as though whispering secrets. You glare through this sort of path, and at the very end, you can just make out at the base of Lighthouse Hill, there seems to be some sort of very dark divot.
When you say a divot, do you mean like a cave or?
You assume so. It's a lot darker than the rest of the hill.
Do you think
If I
that's it?
scan the lighthouse, is there a person in it?
Roll me your logic and vigilance.
Oh no, where is he? Oh no.
Dos.
Is that
2, fantastic.
that facial expression didn't make me think that?
No.
I genuinely thought it was going to be way worse than it came up.
Ah.
Yay!
Yeah, Kruger, as you stare through the fog and the damp evening here, or the twilight almost that has come down over this town, despite it being about midday, you glare through the haze and through the dark looming clouds, and you can just make out in the doorway of the lighthouse, where the orange dirty light spills out of it and onto the nearby hillock, just below the gigantic monolithic structure that casts its darkness all over the town, you see the outline of a figure holding something very tall and very skinny. And it's right there that we will cut to our break today. I'm a terrible man. Thank you very much, players, for...
But you are a
Honest.
terrible man.
yeah.
Damn, you were a wordsmith though. God, those descriptions are great. Fuck.
Yeah.
We will be back ever so shortly, peoples of the night and so forth. We are going to take a quick 10 to let ourselves recoup a little bit. And after that, we will be back to give away a copy of the cool rulebook and chat to our wonderful Splendiferous guest here to learn more about them and what they do and whereabouts you can find them and all that good shit. So yeah, with that, we will cut to break. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you soon. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, everybody. I'm George.
And I'm Bob. We're the Shipping Goblins from Beetle and Grips. Today, we're going to talk about the amazing Map Vault Collection. And with the Map Vault Collection, you get a bunch of gorgeous two-sided maps, all scaled for standard minis.
Yeah, get yours now for the Map Vault collection from Beetle and Grim, and all the players at your table will be revved up and hyper because the only thing they'll be able to say is...
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
Zoinks!
Yeah, do it again.
Zoinks!
Hello?
Who do you think you are?
Yes, Mr. Lillard.
You're just some common.
Yes, sir.
You can't just go off and use my
It's your
voice
thing.
like that. I have rights.
Completely. We just thought...
Me?
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna take this right to
yes, sir.
Beetle. Hey, Grim.
Thank you, sir.
What happened?
Matthew Lillard watches our show!
And we are live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to our story King Hunt, where we are concluding our mystery, The Night Sow, with our wonderful players here today. But before we dive back into the Mythic North, we have some other matters to attend to. We are joined once again today by the lovely Matt Brown from Split the Party. Before we have a chat to him real quick, we are going to be giving away a copy of the core rulebook of VAESEN. Exciting times. If you would like to have this magnificent, splendiferous book all to yourself in PDF form, look at this nonsense. It's wonderful. You know you want it. All you need to do is drop in chat. I had a thing and now I've forgotten it. Drop in chat what question you would want to ask a newly eviscerated corpse, and we will pick our favourite out of the recommendations. Now, whilst that is all popping off, Matt, let's have a chat. So, you are with Split the Party. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you guys do?
Yeah, so we're a YouTube channel primarily, but we do a lot of D&D content with a self-titled series just called Split the Party. We do some gaming content. We do kind of like comedy-ish videos. There was, for example, our Christmas video. I dressed up completely blue and tortured my cast members in a weird game show. Yeah, no, we're trying to break into the streaming side as well. So I hope it airs next week. We have started a painting stream with one of your past guests, Leia Robertson, and we're doing like a TTRPG themed breakfast show. I think it's airing at your nighttime, so 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Fantastic. Where can we find that?
That one's going to be on twitch.tv/splitthepartytv, and then our YouTube is youtube.com/splittheparty.
Great.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing a lot with like Jasper's Game Day recently as well, aren't you?
Yes.
Tell us a little more about that.
Yes, part of the reason why I'm so tired today is myself and almost most of the, so about over half of the cast of Split the Party are appearing somewhere in the Australian edition of Jasper's Game Day. I kind of kicked off the Australian streams with my game on Monday midday, and that just derailed the whole thing. Deck of many things, man. The donations are fantastic. We made like $500 in donations. Fantastic. Like, it's amazing. And then I had to deal with all the consequences of like Wild Magic Surge, advantage, disadvantage, deck of many things. Angel comes out of nowhere, over of useful items. And then I've got another game on Saturday at 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And we're doing like an occult kind of mystery in D&D instead, with the similar donations. If you want to, like, honestly, if any of the five of you also want to mess with me,
I played in it this morning UK time.
You did, yeah.
Time, and the amount of wild magic surges that were coming in were unbelievable. I even put one on another member of the party.
I donated. I was watching because my friend Lydia was in the stream yesterday. I donated to give her disadvantage explicitly in her Pathfinder game.
Fantastic.
I was like, who could that be?
Well, what's been your favorite one so far? What's been your favorite shenanigan that's come from the donations?
I haven't been able to catch a lot of them. I've seen basically her one, a bit of Sean Sunday's one, and then my one. But my favorite shenanigans is they took so I run this module a lot with my professional DMing, and it derailed so hard. They tried to kill the lovable little dwarf NPC that I'd created. Literally the only party who's ever done that. And I was sitting there in shock being like, you guys just tried to kill Belbeck. I've never seen that before. And I straight up just told them all, I'm like, congratulations, you are the first team to actively kick the little dwarf man off this floating city.
Oh, amazing. Right, thank you for that, Matt.
right.
We will pull back real quick. What have we got in chat in terms of questions, answers? We're going to be skipping through this a little quick today because we've got a lot of content to get through.
What did people have to put in to win the copy again?
They had to tell us what questions they would ask the quite obvious murder victim corpse, should they have found them and were able to bring them back from the dead to ask one question. So the answers we have are, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
I hate you.
Did you see
don't,
the
that's a lie.
light and are you going to miss ice cream?
Uh-huh.
Wish you'd stayed inside, right?
Cheers.
And, so which part of what just happened was your favourite?
Brilliant. Well, what do you think? What do you think, Matt? So as our resident guest, which is your favourite out of those?
Just scrolling through again. I'm torn between which part of what just happened was your favorite and wish you stayed inside.
Well, we can't do what you stayed inside because that was our beloved Alexander Kruger messing with us.
Yes.
I regret nothing, and that is the question I would ask.
All right, so the default winner then.
Yeah, so Alan, I believe you actually won that a couple of weeks ago. So if there is somebody that you would like to gift your copy of the Cool Rulebook of VAESEN to, that is absolutely fine. Message one of our mods with their email address and their name, and we will get that all squared away for you. Yeah, great. So as we pull ourselves once again back to our scene, Alexander has stormed through the graveyard with great intent towards the lighthouse and seen, standing in the doorway of the monolithic structure, a older gentleman, it looks like, possibly the man from before, holding some sort of staff. And whilst he's staring at this, you all back around the church have a corpse that you are being granted one question of with the help of the voice in Ingrid's head. Ingrid, as you crouch down beside this eviscerated body, you begin to sort of flex your fingers, feeling this tingle in the fingertips and this spike of adrenaline, this sort of spike in your brain that tells you something else is in there. And as you kneel down beside this body, you begin to feel this energy transferring from you into them. And once again, you hear that wheezing inhale of breath in lungs that should no longer have it. What would you like to ask?
Well, everybody?
Oh. Can it hear us?
Something can, yes.
Body, can you hear me?
No, don't ask it that question.
What's wrong with you?
Yep.
No, it was more of a statement.
I see. Are you and yours with the society?
What? Of course!
The body, you hear a crick as it turns its head towards you. And it says, yes.
Well, that was a waste of a question. Thanks, Doctor.
How many do
With
we get?
hindsight, we only got one, and with hindsight, it would have been better to ask where are they based. Yes, I panicked.
Or,
And with that,
we could have asked the corpse.
And with that, the breath once again leaves.
Oh, look, it's dead again.
And it's at this time that you all look up and look around, and you notice that you begin to attract somewhat of a crowd.
Where's Kruger?
As you look around, you notice that Kruger is no longer in sight. There are boot tracks leading away from you through the cemetery, following the blood, and you are beginning to attract a crowd of sort of standers-by who have been ambling along towards their jobs and various things.
What do they do when they see us standing around that?
Just like sort of like nosy neighbor peering in. They're like, oh god, what?
Did they find it strange, or did they see what specifically was happening?
Honestly, it's that much blood and that much gore. You get the feeling that a corpse's sort of mouth moving or lulling its head to the side either you'd have to be paying very close attention to catch it, or you'd have to know what you're looking for. No one seems to really have taken into account that. They just seem to be gawking at it, and
Okay.
you do seem to be attracting somewhat of a crowd. Can all of you please roll me logic and vigilance, please?
Oh, would you look at that? It's another evisceration. Ah, it's a fucking Tuesday, is it? Oh,
Well-
bugger.
That's a fail.
One. I got one.
Ooh.
Nada.
Pavel count is up to 9, good folks.
Okay, who got the highest successes?
Dr.
2
Anki
for
got
Dr.
it.
Anki. Dr. Anki, as you look around, you scan the crowd here. It's yeah, no, red light. You scan this crowd here and take a look at the individual faces watching you, and they sort of come upon this and gasp and sort of talk to their neighbor like, "God, do you see that? Goodness gracious, this town's going to hell." And as you're watching this, one of the villagers standing closest to you, maybe bar a couple, their face begins to horrifically twist and morph. First of all, it looks as if they've opened their mouth to yawn, but the yawn goes on for far too long. The mouth opens too wide, and then it's a soundless scream as tusks erupt from the top of their mouth. Spines burst from their back, and they throw their head back in agony as their eyes burn away to red, glowing coals. You are transfixed and terrified, but you have to blink sometime, and when you do, the face is back to that of a young man. He gives you a very perplexed look as he turns away and walks back into the rest of the crowd as they begin to lose interest. As the mirage fades, a glimpse of something else flashes across your mind. Vision of a lighthouse. And through a door, the vision takes you down into a basement, where a dog barks and claws at the door, trying to get past an obstacle in vain. Also, as you're watching this, you cast your gaze up towards the lighthouse. And you see the same thing that Kruger did.
Okay. I will carefully put away the preventative medicine aimed at the poor person who was not a monster.
Fair. Luckily, you rolled enough successes to avoid the fear, but you are significantly shaken.
I was going to say, only mechanically.
Precisely.
Somebody get a doctor. I say to
Yes.
the random crowd.
Yep. Okay.
No, we're running.
Running? Okay, you're making your way away from the graveyard, and it's about... Hang on. I'm going to make a roll to that. Which way are you going?
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
A
Fantastic.
large crowd of people, you're gathered around an eviscerated corpse. They all look at you and you go, scatter!
Yeah, you begin to make your way hurriedly towards the graveyard and away through it towards the copse of trees, where you see your friend back to you as he stares into this long, dark corridor of trees towards the dark hillock in the distance. And it's good that you do. It seems that you just made it in time as you hear a whistle erupt behind you, dispersing the crowd, as a loud, authoritative voice that you find familiar as the voice of Officer Jacobson says, "What's all this? What's all this? Move, move, move! This is a crime scene now, move!" And it's sort of a very loud, boisterous voice begins to disperse the crowd behind you. Luckily, you seem to have sneaked your way into the crowd and away in time. And you all reconvene by this crossroads path in a lonely dirt road outside the town of Morley between the graveyard and Lighthouse Hill. The door has now shut.
You know, I really don't think that running away from a crime scene helps.
Both hands on Ingrid's shoulders, leans in with no respect for person boundaries. The lighthouse keeper has Esther.
Well, yes, we know.
Excellent.
I've
Now
known
that is
this
the
for like
priority
a
then.
good 3 hours. Why didn't you just ask me?
Well, perhaps we
Ingrid,
should...
sometimes it would be good if you could just tell us the wisdom in your mind instead of waiting for us to try to understand the patterns that we have to walk down to find it.
I did try to tell you, but you weren't listening. Much like why you asked stupid question of corpse.
You're right. That one's on you.
That one is on you.
Yeah, you're the asshole here.
Yes.
We will deal with the consequences of my actions later.
Awesome.
And they will be dealt with.
So should we pursue what's going on up there so Ingrid doesn't have to make another soul deal too quick and we can save the lady?
Oh, don't
Yeah,
you mean
can we
Anki
have this
doesn't have to
conversation
make
while we're
another deal
walking?
with my soul?
Okay, yeah, let's save ourselves another silly question by Anki then. And then,
Okay. Are you headed towards the lighthouse?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
There is a cave at the bottom of the lighthouse. Which would you prefer, going in or there or through the lighthouse itself?
I feel the
The
cave
man
is
went
better.
through the lighthouse.
I feel like the cave could be like the cut-off route, but at the same time, we saw him specifically go through the lighthouse. Logic dictates, I don't know.
The cave, I assume, is the place where the witches cast their spells that enrage the Glosson.
You do know that, yes.
Look, you
Oh,
have,
yeah, let's go. Let's
you
do
have
that.
two
Oh,
choices.
sorry.
If Esther is in cave, you can go get Esther, or you can go and get man with stick. Which one would you like to do?
Stick.
I think that, yeah, the lady. I want to save the lady.
All right. Well, I will take Cassius, and we will go save the lady. I don't know why I said the lady, but yeah, we will go and save Tova and Esther, and you can go up and find the stick. Pavel, where are you going?
I will come with you.
Okay,
as
divide and
well.
conquer. Right.
Oh, no.
You're headed to Rooting Cave.
Divide and
I don't
conquer,
wanna-
split the party. There are two ways to look at this.
I was gonna say I
Hey.
don't want. I don't want to. I was gonna say I don't
said
want to. I
it.
don't want to make a point of the show that's literally called the thing you don't do. But
Roll credits. Okay. The two of you that are headed to Rooting Cave, so that's Ingrid
three.
and Dr. Anki. Ingrid, Dr. Anki, and Pavel.
Ingrid, Crashes, and Pavel.
Oh,
Yes.
Ingrid,
Ingrid,
Cassius,
Cassius,
and
and Pavel are going to the cave, and
Cassius,
Anki and
Anki
Alexander are
just
going.
checking. We've got a gun in each party, right?
We do,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Good.
You have the gun in your party.
I do have the gun.
You guys both
It's also
have guns.
the gun.
Jesus Christ.
You guys both have guns.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. So that's Ingrid. Who else is heading to the cave?
Cassius
Pavel and
and
Crashes.
Pavel.
Cassius and Pavel. Just going to make a note of that so I don't forget, like a dingus. Okay. So that's Anki and Alex. The two parties managed to make their way up through the gnarled trees, mostly all the way to the base of this lighthouse hill. As you head through the graveyard, you follow the tracks. They lead you between these sort of twisted trees through this gnarled lane. The blood splatter on the floor gets less and less as the trail gets more gnarled and less fit for human passage. The roots seem to sort of reach up to grab you on your way through and pull you down, but you sort of manage to kick them away as you walk through, and you manage the base of Lighthouse Hill. You see that to your right, the path diverges, leading up towards the monolithic lighthouse building, but directly ahead, you see in front of you an inlet in the base of Lighthouse Hill.
I
So-
low-key love it here. It is my element.
great.
I love it here. It's an evil
and-
forest. It's great.
And this is where you split off. So we have Ingrid, Cassius, and Pavel. As you begin to make your way towards the divot here, it's a ravine full of loose rocks, slippery ice and snow, grasping branches. The entrance is maybe a meter in diameter, and it's a quick squeeze, but you manage to get through. The cave then, once you get through the opening, opens up into a tapered chamber. Then you can see what lies beyond here. As you enter, there are traces of fire and animal bone fragments, and the walls display carved little elements that have been done over the centuries. In the center of the room, someone has drawn a pentagram in chalk. There is a human skull with a hole drilled into the top of the head, where several incense sticks have been inserted, and a plate of dried pig's blood has been placed in the middle of the pentagram. The blood treks back through all of this into the darkness and around a corner. Can all of you make me a logic and vigilance test whilst we cut away real quick? Anki and Alexander, you make your way up the winding path, circling around the outside of the lighthouse towards the monolithic building on top. It is a whitewashed tower attached to a stone house where the Lightkeeper supposedly lives. There is a staircase leading from the bottom of the lighthouse that you can just sort of make out through the window in the door, making up to the lantern room at the top. There's a balcony running along the outside of the tower, and it is casting a sort of dull, gritty orange light onto the surroundings that gives you enough to see by in this gloom. The area surrounding the lighthouse, its keeper has set up some farming plots and a building enclosure for goats and chickens, all of which are empty. As you approach, the door is now shut.
Wooden door.
Yep,
No problem. Actually, that's a lie. It's a door in a role-playing game. This is going to be our fucking Everest.
Is it locked?
How would you
This
like
is
to
the final
approach the door?
boss.
Yeah.
Well, we could see if it is locked before we try to knock it down.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Or we could just knock.
Try it.
You're going up to it?
I hate the way you said that, but yeah.
You
As
know
you're
what? I'll go first.
Dr. Anki in the lead?
If I
Okay.
fall, you're
Wait,
more
no,
likely to avenge
no,
me than the other way.
stupid. No, I'll go first, because if I go
Excellent.
down, you can heal me. You're the doctor. You can fix me if I get hurt. I don't
Compelling
know. I'll
argument,
throw you off a
Sergeant.
cliff.
Go.
Okay, as you all you make your way towards this door, Alexander, you elbow Dr. Anki behind you. You get about 10 feet from it before it opens of its own volition. You see that familiar figure of the gnarled old man standing there staring at you, completely blank-faced and almost like he was waiting. He looks between you both as you approach, and before you can take another step, he raises his hand, the one holding the staff, and slams it into the ground. We will make our way back to the other team real quick.
Beans. Luckily, I have an apple in my pocket.
I love it when people split the party. It's so much fun.
Oh dear.
What did we get in terms of successes for Jarl in the cave? 1, 0, and 1. Okay. For those
It's
of
a
you who
power
got
count.
one success, you see the blood tracks making their way back through the darkness. It's dim light in here, but just enough to see by as you see these dark ink-like splotches going towards the back, and you follow them. You do root around back there, enough to find that there is a dead end, but just before that dead end, there are the evidences of foul play littering the floor. There are more splatches of blood here, more dried sort of viscera along the walls. There is a strip of cloth lying on the floor, discarded, caked with blood and saliva, split coils of rope that have been kicked under nearby rocks, and there is a cage, just big enough to hold a person, constructed out of wood and rusted nails, the front of which has been burst open. With one success, as you kick at the floor to get an idea of what you're dealing with here, and you uncover the ropes and the what appears to be some sort of rudimentary gag, you kick everything aside, and you see that alongside the blood, there are also tracks, cloven hoof tracks, that lead away from the cage and out of the cave. They don't come back.
Well, clearly it's left the cave, but I've got another question. What's our team name? Ingrid and Pavel. Like, what's our? You know, I feel like we've got like a whole little thing going on. And what's our team name? Yes. Like, you know, they've got team Sergeant Doctor, and what's our team name?
Big fan of Team Sergeant Doctor, I'll be honest with you.
I think with more pressing matters to hand, this might be something we might need to put a pin in and come back to.
Yeah, but we're about to go into we're about to go into like a whole deadly situation. So if we don't, there might not be the three of us together again. So,
well,
Okay,
I feel like we got to title it or something.
We'll split away from this real quick as you're all having this argument and take our way once again to the back of the lighthouse. Dr. Anki, Sergeant Alexander Kruger, you have seen this old lighthouse keeper bang his staff into the ground. Could both of you roll me logic and observation?
Logical what, sir?
Logic and observation, please.
Observation. Wait.
Can I instead roll precision and close quarters to just shoot him?
If you're not paying any attention whatsoever to your surroundings, yes.
Yeah, I'll do that after.
One success.
Observation. I'm sorry. Singular. Nice.
Okay, fantastic. Between the two of you, you glance at each other and share a worried look as you realize that alongside what appears to be the faint sounds of barking from below the Lightkeeper's house, you begin to hear the unhurried approach of hooves on stone and a deep double timbre of inhuman breathing. What would you like to do?
I look this man dead in the eyes and go, "This is not going to end well for you." And then I will barge through the door and get inside before he slams it shut on us.
Okay, let's have a roll then for you then, please. I have set a difficulty for this, so you will not be rolling off, but you will be rolling against a set difficulty. Can you roll me your physique and close combat, please? Dr. Anki, what is your intent in this moment?
I did roll the thing you asked me to roll.
Yes,
Excellent. I completely lost my mind. The sergeant's bursting through. Follow him?
Follow him? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, no worries. Are you aiding him at all in ramming this man?
Let's go with yes.
Okay,
Out
add
of
an
sheer
additional
reflex.
dice. Add an additional dice there, Krieger.
Hold on, I'm not doing that. I'm ramming.
Add an additional dice, you little shit.
Not specifically ramming the man.
Yeah.
Just
It is
We're
too
not
late
do-
now
we're
to
not
change
going
our
there.
approach.
We're not going there.
no baiting in the show. Yeah, just the 6.
Not
just
yet.
The 1.
All right, cool.
Well, I mean, you have a man trap.
Gosh, so that was one success.
I do have a man trap.
He is a very spindly old man. It is not hard. You you force your way past this individual and shoulder check him hard, and he loses his balance quite easily as he tumbles to the floor and skids back a couple of feet on his butt. He does manage to keep a hold of his staff, but he is very much prone on the ground in front of you as you rush in. And it's as you do this, but that behind you, you hear this snorting, angry breathing begin to get closer and closer.
Tanky. Door! Door!
Yes, I will do the door.
Okay, you slam the door shut, press your back against it. Are you doing anything else to try and keep this shut, or are you just using your force of will?
Actually, you know what? I will throw an apple at the door.
You throw an apple at the... Okay.
I have one apple.
Great, fantastic. You gain this throw and go to yeet it. I'm going to just ask for funsies. Can you make
Eat
me a roll
this, Satan!
let's say precision ranged combat, I guess? Or physique and force, whichever you think.
Precision range combat sounds exactly
Great,
like my kind of...
fantastic. We'll say that Dr. Ranky's done slingshot.
That's a yeet, that's a Kobe
Shut
compared
up.
to a yeet. I believe yeet would be the
Precision.
precision
For sure. Yeah, this is a Kobe. Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from.
Let us see
Oh.
if an apple a day keeps the doctor away from death.
This is
With
essentially-
2 successes!
2 successes, fantastic. You take this apple and you lob it as hard as you can, and you see momentarily you are face to face with this entity as you open the door enough to throw it. It is huge. It is maybe 1/2 of you and one of you lengthways as well. It is a large, coarsely covered, furry entity with coal-like red eyes that glare out of the dark at you. And its mouth, the maw in itself seems to be dripping some sort of reddish pink saliva that as it hits the ground pools in a dark liquid. Please roll me either your logic and empathy as you begin to feel the fear gripping you as you come face to face with this creature.
It is
May as
time
well
for my
just-
straight up Pavel of the day.
Oh dear. You feel the fear grip you and are going to take the frightened condition as you come face to face with this entity.
To be honest, I would be ashamed if I didn't.
However, as you do this, you manage to get enough of yourself to complete the throw, and you see this creature follow the apple with its eyes, spin on its heel, and zoom after it like an excitable puppy dog. It is all the way down the hill in seconds as you slam the door shut once again.
That's kind of cute.
That is
Yeah.
adorable.
Pig's got
we-
zoomies.
Weirdly adorable pig
Pig
zoomies,
zoomies.
exactly. For the rest of you in the cave, you hear a thundering of cloven hooves, boom, 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 as this creature races down the hill. You see nothing. You just hear this stampede of one making its way down the hillock. As you're inside this cave, what would you like to do?
I'm just saying that Shroomfoot and the Fibers sounds great.
Ah.
Boom, boom,
I
boom,
like it.
boom, 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 boom.
What's the base? Who dropped it?
I did beach.
All right, Sky Voice, calm down.
That's
I swear I just heard the word of God, but I can't be for sure.
Well, That would be a
Sounds
first
like
for Pavel.
Yeah, it sounds like he's an EDM DJ, if anything.
Anyways, why are we here discussing names?
Oh, there's a whole lot of bones in a dead circle, and there's footprints leading out of the cave. So I
Let's
think
follow the
I think this is a
footprints.
dead end.
Let's follow
Yes,
footprints.
literally.
It sounds like some action's happening upstairs. So I think Krugs has got his bloodthirst on.
Okay. As you both,
There's...
sorry, as all three of you exit the cave, once again back into the night here. Well, I say night, it is daytime. It just is bloomin' dark. You once again emerge onto the pathway, loomed over by the dark trees, just in time to see them begin to shake and quiver in the night as the snow begins to fall from the branches and hit the floor as some sort of tremor begins to shake it free. You look up just in time to see this colossal pig-like entity with glowing red eyes and coarse dark fur, dripping jowls with some sort of red fluid, racing its way down the hill after some sort of like round projectile that's bouncing its way down the hill.
Apples.
Could all of you please roll me your logic or your empathy as you try and resist the fear upon seeing this entity in the flesh for the first time?
So I've seen this thing before. Is that doing anything for me?
Yeah, actually. Yeah. I will say take 2 additional dice for this one.
So which is one? Logic.
Logic or empathy. It's just your
I
straight
love
attribute.
empathy.
And then add 2 additional dice.
Yep.
Gracias.
So that's 6 plus. No, hold on. 4 plus 2 is 6.
Correct.
The Lighthouse family.
We are
Aw.
family.
I really
got
like
it.
the liar, the bitch, and the audacity. The liar, the witch, and the audacity of this bitch.
I love
That's
that
a good
one.
rhyme.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what's the show Around the Twist at all with the
Yeah.
lighthouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably used to freak me out when I was a kid.
Small, they do not know around the twist.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'm uncultured.
I got nothing because
I
terrible at
pebbled
this.
it as well.
Paveled it. Oh, Crassius, you just scrape by. You steel yourself as you watch this thing thunder down the hill, and you're like, it's following an apple. It's not that scary.
It just wants the apple, guys. Do I have an apple myself?
You do. You all armed yourselves.
I've got a bag
yeah.
of them, haven't I?
And you have an entire bushel of apples, for sure, as our friend Barbosa would say.
Okay, so, hey,
Ingrid and Pavel,
Pavs.
however, you are going to take the frightened condition.
I already
Ingrid,
have
you are already frightened, so you're going to take the angry condition as you sight this thing and you think, oh, you son of a gun! Why? You feel that sort of rage begin to build again as you realize that once again you've gotten yourself in a potentially life-threatening situation, and there is the way out seems to be getting yourself into further life-threatening situations, and frankly, it's getting on your nerves a little bit. Yes, the two of you are not doing so hot, and you turn around, Crassius, to see the two of them. Father Pavel looking absolutely terrified, and Ingrid looking infuriated.
Oh, God. Hey, Pav, give me that bag of apples, please.
Certainly. I mean, that thing was chasing after that one apple like a madman, and
Sure was. I've got an idea.
Bag
Of
full
course.
of them. So yes, here you go.
All right, cool.
Can I
I
have one of
want
those?
to take the bag of apples. I want to shove as many apples as I can into my gun barrel.
Oh no.
And then I want to have like 2 or 3 in my hands as much as I can.
Yeah, sure.
You-
And I want to walk towards the thing.
Yeah, all right. Hell yeah.
Apple
What's
sauce.
your intent with this? Are you planning to fire the apples?
If I need to.
I am
Right.
not going to
For
stop
now,
him
just approaching it.
because that's
Yes.
funny.
All right. As you
And
approach
I want to yell out to it and be like, "Hey, come over here! I got apples for you all day."
Fantastic. As you, this pig thunders down this hill and then reaches the bottom just in time when the apple slows to a roll and begins to feast down upon it. And as you begin to yell, it snaps its gaze to you and see those coal-like eyes boring deep into your own. And you remember this. You know.
Oh yeah, I
this
stare
well.
with my own cold eyes back at it.
You think, "Hey, baby, let's tango." What is your intention?
Okay, I've seen this thing before.
You certainly have.
This thing's like a force of nature, right? Do I know, like, do I know if it's like evil or not? Like, what do I know about this thing? Do I know it's like hostile, malicious, or is it like a defensive terror? Like, what kind of vibe? Can I vibe check it?
You can indeed vibe check it. You, having seen this creature before, and from what you have gathered here today, and from what you know of VAESEN in general, being part of the society and group that you are, let's say, you know that this creature by nature is not evil. You know that no VAESEN by nature is evil. That
Okay.
it is the frustration of its story being tarnished or forgotten or messed with by humans in some way that makes it aggressive and makes it violent. You are also aware that regarding a Glosson specifically, if the thing controlling it is shattered or broken, it dispels the Glosson.
Okay. And do I have an idea of who is controlling it?
Given that you now know that it is controlled by a staff of Lindenwood, you would ascertain that it's probably the lighthouse keeper with the Lindenwood staff.
I turn back and I'm like, go get that staff.
You mean the one that they went to get?
Yeah, I just know I need the staff.
Very well.
What are you going to do with the gun loaded with apples?
Oh, it's more of a temptation thing for the beast.
And
Okay.
being told to move away from the beast, Pavel's not gonna, wait to be told once again, and will walk towards the.
I'm gonna
lighthouse
stay
as well.
here with the idiot
Okay.
with the gun loaded with
Right.
apples.
Pavel, you make your way towards the lighthouse. Crassus, this entity has turned towards you and looks like it's about to charge. What would you like to do?
I want to throw an apple to my left,
an
a
apple
few
to your left?
meters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's make another yeet or a Kobe check, depending on your how you are throwing this thing. Are you throwing it with precision or force? Would you say?
Precision. I'd have 7 dice for that, and I've also got. I mean, my pistol and saber have a +2, but I don't think that comes into play here.
Not particularly, but
Alright.
you will Kobe. Yes, go for it.
All right.
I want to
Ooh,
help.
2.
I don't know how I can help him throw an apple, but I want to help.
I got
Sure.
2 there though.
All right, roll an additional dice for Ingrid's help as well.
Maybe she's handing you apples.
Just one.
Just an additional dice. 3, perfect. You underhand this apple and bowl it, and it goes flying with a perfect spin. It's got a lovely curve to it as it goes.
Yeah,
as well. What is your intention with this? Is it as far away as possible you want it to throw, or?
No, I basically want to have it near me
Okay.
and distract it.
Yep, no worries. You throw it to about maybe 20 feet to your left, and it rolls to a stop just as this pig goes to charge, skids to another stop, pans to the left, and then goes after this apple. And it appears to be distracted for now. As we go back up to the lighthouse, you have the lighthouse keeper prone before you. He is trying to once again struggle to his feet, cursing loudly. What is your intention?
You
You're on
may
mute.
wa-
Oh no, yeah,
So I have a bear trap.
you do.
As you do, you know.
Oh no.
But if I just, you know how like he
Is
needs
this
an
a red
arm
light
to
moment? Is
move
that what
his-
you're
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
just
no.
like
Okay.
on his arm. Ah! Drops the stick. I have the stick now. Aha. I was gonna say like maybe red light it. I don't know.
I'm not gonna make you roll for this. He's prone, and you're.
He's an old man. It's not.
It's
I'm
not
being-
bloody hard, but it's
being up a
horrifying.
pensioner.
Dr.
Wait, what?
Anki, you watch as, with great purpose, Alexander pulls a bear trap out of his bag, grabs this man's ankle, yanks him further off his feet to unbalance him, and snaps the jaws of the bear trap shut around his leg. It goes
no.
to about
Not leg. Sorry, arm. The arm that was holding the.
the
Staff.
arm. Okay. Great. Sort of. Yeah.
up here somewhere.
You very much red light moment here, folks. Just for those who aren't on the tab, very much red light moment. You hear the jaws of this bear trap snap shut around the limb, and the bones within the limb snap. There is blood, there is screaming, and the agony in this man's voice is heartrending. I'm going to need both of you to make a logical empathy test as the fear of as this moment sets in of what you've done.
Just look down at him and go. I told you things wouldn't end well for you.
He is basically catatonic. He is not responding.
I guess that this man is not a dead body yet, and as such, I do not. Yeah, the figures. Fuck everything, Kruber. 6.
1, okay. And,
Just logic
Jarrus?
and empathy, or just the
Just
one.
the one. one of the attributes, logic or empathy.
Oh, they're both not great. Single.
Single? Okay, that's enough. The both of you sort of are shaken by this terrible moment that's happening in front of you. As you hear the bone give way and you see the blood begin to pool and you hear, your ears are ringing with the sound of this noise, of this agony coming from this gentleman. And you both resist the taking any further mental damage from seeing this happen, but you are very much shaken as Dr. Anki. You turn to Alexander, and Alexander, you have the staff of this man who is now writhing in agony with one arm stuck in a bear trap.
Sergeant, break the staff, not the man. Next time.
Can I hear that?
No, they're at the top of
Okay.
Lighthouse Hill in a house,
don't
and
worry
you're at
about
the
it.
bottom.
Okay.
I just turn to Anki and go, why? And I look down at the man and I slam the staff into the ground.
Okay.
As he did.
All right, sure. Let's have
I
a
want to see if this works.
Let's have a roll here. Let's have a roll. Roll me your.
That's what I'm thinking.
Roll me
I
your.
want a pig.
Let's have
want a
double.
pig.
Let's have double empathy here.
Double empathy.
Let's have double empathy or empathy inspiration, which,ever you'd prefer.
Don't know if I can help in this, but let it be known for the record that I won't be.
Valid.
If he comes
We're
back with
getting
a
a
pig
pet
as a
pig.
pet, if he comes back with
Yeah.
that pig as a pet, you hellas a know that I'm going to go and get the pig as a pet.
I would love the pig
Paveled
as a
it.
pet. I'm just saying.
Paveled
Pig
it.
Damn it!
Pig pet, pig
You
pet.
slam this staff into the
Beans.
ground, and you hear the cracking of splintering wood as you do so.
Nah, beans.
You don't feel anything. You don't feel any telltale tingling. You don't feel any different. You don't feel any pull of anything responding to you. But as you slam it into the ground, a fissure crack begins to form along this staff.
Oh.
So there must be some trick to this.
Dr. Anki.
I shoot the stuff.
Okay, roll me your precision and range combat. Yes, precision.
Why?
Range combat. Sorry, my brain left my body there, apparently.
Happens.
Because Dr. Anki was of the very strong opinion that we should not try to control this. We should just be rid of it. Leave it fucking be and let it leave us be.
But what if it doesn't go away?
Please make
What
your
if
roll,
it doesn't
Dr.
go
Anki.
away?
Then
You-
we're fucked, aren't we? 2 6s.
2 6s, that's enough. This you very much do here, Crassius and everyone at the bottom of the hill. So Crassius and Ingrid, as you go to throw your next apple, as this pig begins to finish this last scrounging of apple that you've thrown at it, you hear this gunshot ring out across the hill and echo around the tree line. As Dr. Anki, you take aim, fire, and the staff splinters into a million pieces of oak onto the floor, of lindenwood onto the floor. As they
Does
do
it-
this,
does it-
Holding like the top like a cudgel, just
Yes.
beating you with it.
as you do
Feel
this,
free.
it all happens at once. As you do this, Crassius and Ingrid, you watch as the Glosson stops in its tracks.
Pig. Ooh.
It's still staring directly at you, and its eyes seem to narrow slightly and then widen in some sort of realization as it looks down at itself, and then begins to change and form.
Piggle.
Oh, what the did they just do?
Pigo begins to shrink and emaciate. Red light. And as it does so, the fur and the hocks begin to fall off of it. The fat begins to melt. The eyes begin to dull and dull and dull and hollow out until there's nothing but a pig skull there. And then it begins to shrink and detract as the snout shrinks back into the face. There's a horrific crunching noise of a body trying to shrink back into something it hasn't seen in a very long time. There is a wet tearing of flesh as it begins to remold and reshape. And you see in front of you as this creature shapes and reforms and begins to lean back, become bipedal, become skinnier, and take the shape of a human, a person,
Beans.
standing
Oh,
there,
what the?
bedraggled clothing, bloodied. They have red bleeding marks around their hands and their feet where they look like they have been bound, and they hover in the air slightly at the brink of this transformation before they almost sightlessly, because they just seem to be completely catatonic. They don't even seem to be seeing you anymore, as this, what appears to be sort of a middle-aged woman, falls to the ground unconscious.
I run up to them.
Same.
Okay.
Straight up run up to them. I grab them by the throat.
What the frick are you
Point
doing?
the gun right at their face.
Put them down.
No worries.
I'd be like, I'm just like, do I know this person?
You look down at her face. Let's have a roll here. Let's have a empathy observation roll for you, please.
Yep. 1.
1. You aren't entirely sure, but you think all those years ago you saw her at a meeting of your specific club.
I don't know their name or anything.
Nope.
I recognize her.
Yep.
I go like,
just blankly.
I'm like beating on your arm, like, put them down.
I'm looking at her and I'm like, I know your face.
What?
How did this happen to you?
What? And they're like choking as they're trying to get the words out as you hold them by the throat.
Yeah, no, I'm like gripping.
If you put them down, I'll tell you how you're going to die.
I thought I was gonna die today, but this is.
Well, I can tell you for sure, but you've got to put them
They
down.
are trying to get these words out, but you get the feeling that they just can't get past it. They are trying
I let
to
go,
choke out these
but
words.
Are we still in red?
Oh yeah, sorry. The hard bit's gone now, folks. You're fine.
I regret nothing.
I'm going to make sure
Regret
she's
some things.
okay.
Okay. Who are you?
I'm Ingrid, hi.
What happened?
You were a
Names
pig.
don't matter right now.
And as this sort of happens, we will go once again back up to the website. What am I on about? We will go back up to the lighthouse. Father Pavel, you have made your ways back up to the door, and you see Dr. Anki lowering her gun, Alexander standing there, hand open, as the staff is on the floor in pieces.
There's also a man with a bear trap around his arm.
There's also a man with a bear trap screaming bloody murder.
Speaking of that.
Yes, Dr. Anki.
So, gun barrel's pretty hot.
Yep.
Oh no.
This man is bleeding very poorly.
Yep.
Oh no.
Apply gun barrel to bleeding wound. I
Cool.
wish to medicine this man to hopefully not die.
Okay, roll me a logic medicine test. Father Pavel, what do you do when you get to the door?
I turn and look at Dr. Enki and just say, Kruger? And just point at the bear trap.
Looks like it could be stitches.
Required to get the staff out of his hand.
Understandable, I suppose, in the required time frame.
Okay, Dr. Anki, you... Oh, Lord. Red light, folks. You...
I'll help by
few today.
prying the bear trap
Yeah,
off the arm.
it's easy enough. There's a release latch. It's not one of those that's been modified or anything. There is a functional release. You press it down in the middle, and it springs open. Without the tourniquet of the trap on there, the blood flows even freer now, and you can see very much where the bone has it's a clean break. It's only really being held on by the sinew now and the muscle. As you throw away this trap, you realize that you have to amputate, so you do so in quick, short order, and then you jam the gun against the wound and begin to cauterize it. It is a nasty process. It takes full minutes for this thing to actually even take any sort of register, but it does eventually come to a close to the point where the man stops bleeding to death. His breath is hollow and shallow, and his face is a paper thin white. In the light of his stove that is keeping this place warm, his skin looks almost translucent. You can see the blue veins through it, almost see through to his teeth and his gums, as his face is just almost drained of life. As that's going to take you a couple of minutes, we will skip back to the bottom of the hill where this woman is on the ground, prone in front of Crassius, sort of almost trying to crawl away from him.
Don't you get away. How did this happen to you? Tell me everything.
I was looking for my dog. How long has it been?
I don't know. How long's it been?
You know that it's been 10 days since the proprietor of the inn went missing, and yeah.
It's been 10 days.
She bears a striking resemblance to the young woman who you've met before as well, the one whose mother was missing.
So when
Your mum was missing? Oh, sorry, Ingrid.
I'm just saying, so when you finished interrogating the lady who was quite clearly turned into pig by Maniac,
Yes.
not lady's
No,
fault?
I'm aware. No, she seems fairly innocent. I'm sorry for shoving a gun barrel full of apples in your face.
Was that what that was? I did wonder why it was weirdly sweet. No, I was looking for my dog. I heard him at the lighthouse, so I went to go and look, and then I think I was hit on the head.
You got banged on the head.
I don't know. I don't remember much, but there was some. Did I do something? I could.
You've killed. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Why not?
Would you want to know if you'd just become someone who was a pig?
Yes.
Do you want to know?
What?
Oh, you've been a pig for 10
you've been a
days.
pig.
Would you like to know your activities while being a pig?
Oh, tell me later. This is far more pressing.
Yes.
Who? London did this. The lighthouse keeper.
We assume so.
Bloody hell. Okay.
Actually, our friends are up there dealing with him, but we don't really know what's going on.
Oh.
We've been down
Yeah, you
here
can
the
hear
whole time, but we did hear a big
You can hear the
boom.
manic screaming. That's they're dealing with it.
How did you
It's
know?
in progress.
How did you know what you were dealing with here?
We
I've
are very
seen-
clever.
Are you of?
Yes.
Are you of the site?
I've seen sights before, yes.
I think, as Dr. Anki put it, and I'm going to do... I can't, but Ingrid will do a perfect impression of Anki, as Ingrid says, well, we weren't born on Fridays.
She sort of shakily manages to get to her feet, leaning on a tree. Says, I see. Well, in that case, perhaps we should progress this chessboard a little further,
Yes.
Chessboard?
shall we not?
Chessboard?
You
And
don't
she-
have any idea how this happened to you. You were knocked out, and then that's it. You woke up now with a gun in your face.
I have no memory of it.
Good. If anything comes to you, let me know as soon as you do.
I shall.
Yes.
I want to tell if she's lying.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Oh,
You do
absolutely.
You do notice, Ingrid, as Crassius responds to her previous statement about the chessboard, she almost turns her full attention on him and seems to be regarding him with a newfound respect.
What check are you doing? Because I could probably help in some capacity.
Empathy and observation, please, and add an additional one if Crassius is helping.
Yeah, I would love that.
Cool.
Okay. I got 2 6s.
2 6s. She is being perfectly honest with you. She seems very dazed, very out of it, very concerned, and she keeps looking up at the lighthouse with a mixture of worry and trepidation.
So, why would he turn you into a pig?
He has been trying to get rid of me for some time now, ever since we came to this place. I am the proprietor of the hotel. He did not like that one bit. And
Yes.
I think when fellow people who share our birthday, shall we say, of not Fridays, came to town, I think he saw the opportunity and took it to get rid of me, or at least to attempt to.
I see. And if one were looking for a place that is not a place for people who are not born on other days of week, where would I go?
You'd want the community centre, darling. The community
Good.
centre. You will find. She turns to you, Crassius, and she says, "You will know what to look for.
Yes.
You are looking for it on the east side of the building."
East side of the building. Okay, got it. Quick question. How are you, would you consider yourself a vengeful person?
Perhaps.
Good, our alignment is here then. Can you, if we were to show you that man, could you point him out to me? Like, and just confirm, because we have someone that possibly matches that description if the man upstairs is them.
You mean the Lightkeeper?
Yes, the Light Keeper.
Oh, yes, I could identify them.
Good. And this Light Keeper would be fairly knowledgeable of your whole situation, yes?
I dare say he will.
Good. Let's go meet him.
I dare say we shall. And they do. Crassius and Ingrid, you make your way up towards the lighthouse with this woman beside you. As you're going up, she does sort of introduce herself to you, that her name is Katarina, and she is very much grateful for you having seemingly resolved what was binding her to Glosson form. Hello, Alexander.
Just for this might be fun and cinematic. As they're coming up, once Anki has finished amputating and fixing this man, I'd like to take him to the top of the lighthouse, please.
Sure.
will be a
I will
difficult-
say that you all conglomerate at this exact moment as Alexander yanks him to his feet. He's very out of it, but the bandages and everything seems to hold, even as he is being yanked to his feet.
Careful now.
Anki, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, it was simply, do not move him very swiftly or he may just die before you get to ask any questions, and that will not be in our favor.
His eyes are sort of rolling back in his head with all the agony he's experienced in the previous moments.
And we're
enter.
walking in?
Yes.
Pavel,
I just...
No, sorry, no.
Sorry.
Gracias, by all means.
Is
that him?
Yeah, you guys, you see a woman in very bedraggled looking clothing with the very clear signs of bleeding rope binds around their hands and feet as they are walking barefoot. And she, despite her bedraggled appearance and muddied face, she holds herself with the demeanor of someone who has walked royal halls and will walk there again. She is back stiff and unreadable enigmatic expression as she walks through the door, folds her arms, regards this man, and says, "Ah, Magnus, darling. Now,
Magnus.
let's, that was a little bit of unpleasantness there, wasn't it, between us?"
You can follow us. I start walking up the stairs.
Oh, I think I will, yes.
I'll join as well.
As
collect the
Magnus
hand.
clocks Katerina, he looks between all of you and then back to her, and his eyes loll back, and the recognition happens. And there is a very cathartic moment where the fear really sets in for him as he sees Katerina stood in front of him, looking every inch the vengeful venture capitalist that she apparently is, as you drag this man up the rickety steel staircase up to the top of the lighthouse.
There's like a balcony with I assume like a barricade.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing.
There's
Cool.
not even a barricade. There's just a flimsy wooden sort of platform and like a waist height balcony.
And it's still a storm.
And it's still very much oppressive, deep dark, yeah.
Sergeant.
You can begin talking. I have a couple of things to do while you're doing that, and I take out a large amount of rope and I start tying it to the staircase while they're doing this.
Okay.
Sergeant, all I will say is the man does not die today.
I had no intention. Feel free. Answer your questions. Ask what you need. If he is not compliant, then I have...
I will say that one of you can make me an empathy manipulation roll, and I will get you to ask me 3 questions that you may ask this man while he is still lucid. We will get...
Who do I aid? Because
I think, Crassius, if you make this roll, since you have fairly high manipulation.
Yes, I want everything from him.
Yeah, you make that roll and add 1, 2, 3 additional dice, please. Kruger, since you are busy elsewhere.
For manipulation?
Yes. You have a sizable pool, my dude.
Okay,
Use
I've got
it.
4 plus... 4 plus 4 plus 3, so 11?
Yep. Make me that roll.
Yes.
It's a beefy
Okay,
roll.
out of 7, I've got 1 6. I'm rolling another 4.
Go for it.
Oh my god, that's another 3. 4 total.
Fantastic. What would you like to ask this dude?
How many questions do I get? And can they be like combo questions?
Yeah, let's say 4 since you got so many successes.
You have the knowledge of what you did to turn her into a Glosson, correct?
He nods.
Just
And
while
I
he
assume
starts
it's-
nodding, I start tying the rope to his ankle.
Yes. What was that lady's name, sorry?
Katarina.
Katerina. Katerina,
Yes.
you like vengeance, right?
I am quite partial to it, yes.
Good. We have a person who knows their own sorcery and magics to a beast that I am now familiar with. What would you say? You were once a force of nature. How did that feel? Do you have any memory of this at all?
Well, I would say I'm a force of nature in any form, dear. But specifically, just now, all I can say is that it mirrors perhaps my mood currently, which is simply one of low-level, simmering rage that will express itself shortly, if given the opportunity.
What if we channeled your rage into this person? I don't think he should die.
No, I completely agree. I think there are many things on the way to death we could do.
I feel like tit for tat,
Yes.
you know? Hey, do you have that wood at all? And I turn over to Kruger.
Dr. Anki splintered it.
Yes, but it's still the same form of wood, right? Could we not, you know,
What
get the largest
exactly
piece?
They're tiny pieces.
is the terrifyingly creative mind of Crash's Curio on set on now?
Oh,
I
he's
turn
going
around
to
and I'm like-
totally make him into a glass.
I've got 3 questions left, and they just need a set of instructions at this point.
I just sit the old man just at the edge of the platform.
Now, sir, I would like in detail the instructions of what you did.
Okay. Sorry.
No, I was pretty much done.
Cool. Yeah, you get those in short order. This man is pretty much catatonic, but he knows when he is beaten. He lets you know exactly how to do it, and sort of you all come to the realization that the actual ritual to do so, it's a lot of steps. You're going to need to be here for a long time if you want to do that.
I've got time.
Fantastic.
Keep talking and you will have a gun to your head as well. Along this particular path.
Okay. Since that was a fairly complex one, I'll say you have one more before he sort of slips away into unconsciousness.
Do they? Do I know if they need to write anything or like that I could get them to do in that vein?
Not
Like
particularly.
I don't need to get them to specifically do anything. Okay, good. Now I turn to the rest of the group and I'm like, now these creatures from all of these studies, I admit I know a lot more than I let on, but they are not evil. They're not. They are destructive when people believe them to be destructive, right? So if we truly believe this thing is not evil, but yet a force of nature, then we can perhaps harness this for good, or at least our own purposes.
And what purpose would that be?
Well, I think you know what's coming here. Hey, Krugs, what
Yes.
was my due date again?
Are you going to break this man into essentially that which killed several people over a book deal?
No,
If
no,
the
no, no,
answer
no,
is
no,
in the
no.
affirmative, I will shoot you.
No, not at all. But I would very much like to harness this creature's abilities.
You say harness, and all I hear is, I do not wish to answer your question.
Oh, no, I won't kill anyone.
Then what will you do?
I will
Would be quite
simply
intimidating.
I would simply go and have words, much like I did with Krugs. No blood came of that, now did it?
No.
Then we're in
Actually, very
agreement.
forthright about that.
Yes. I have not shot this gun once.
That being said,
Tools of the trade.
considering this man's weakened state, a glosson of his caliber might not be useful. However,
got a lot of apples.
People that are in prisons that would be very useful.
I shoot the old man.
The old man? Okay. I'm
I
not
shoot.
going
I
to...
want to like. I don't want to shoot, but I want to like hold up and do like, don't you dare.
That's such a good line.
You can still do it. You can still
Okay.
do it.
Okay, Pavel, you have the time to speak the line.
So I was going to shout, "May God have mercy on your soul, for we will not." And then I was going
Okay.
to push him off the side.
Okay,
We'll just
multiple
dangle
things,
as well.
multiple
We'll just
things happen
dangle
at
there.
once. Guys, let's bring it down. Guys, let's bring it down. We are approaching time, so I want to wrap this up.
Yeah, it's fair.
You guys... Oh, wow. Wow, okay. Anki, yeah, no, you're so right. This is a Disney villain death. Anki, you level the pistol at this man's chest just as Pavel, you finish the line, God have mercy on your soul because we will not. And the gunshot fires off. Between the gunshot and you shoving him, Crassius, you bring the pistol up just too late as this man tumbles off of the lighthouse and dashes against the rocks below.
So, sorry. I did say that I tied him to the banister
Okay, cool.
by the
you hear
ankle,
it.
so he'll just go wham into the side of the lighthouse.
Yep, that's horrifying. I love it. Cool. There is a dangling man on the lighthouse now. He's very dead.
In the storm. It's like a horrible wind chime.
That is horrifying. Katerina looks at all of you and says, well,
Wasn't necessary.
wasn't that something?
I'm going back home. And Ingrid
Yes.
gets up, picks up her skirts, and just starts chomping her boots out of the lighthouse. Ingrid's had enough. This entire scenario is just too much.
As they leave, Katerina puts a hand on your shoulder, Crassius, and says, should you wish to continue your studies of the vengeance-related arts, keep in contact.
I sure will. And I'm like literally holding the shaking shaking very big gun up to Anki at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I just go, I point it up and I just fire. And just let it all just go. And I'm just like,
It's just apples.
well, there's bullets in there, but most of it is apples. Yeah.
Apples and viscera,
applesauce.
for sure.
Can I retort?
Sure.
I give him the hand, and then I walk away.
Okay.
The dead man's hand.
Ah,
I think we can all agree that he deserved it.
Turn it into a trotter.
as you all come back into the village of Morley, away from the lighthouse, you find yourselves once again with the day at your back. The light has begun to increase in this town now. As you all make your way back through the tree line, you can't help but glance up as you realize that the translucency of the clouds has somehow gotten brighter. The storm appears to be breaking. The bruise-like nature of these clouds are fading now, and there is behind it a white blanket of snow clouds that begin to deposit its contents on Morley, as once again the wispy, icing sugar-like snowfall begins to descend. As you find yourselves once again in the township, Katarina invites you all back to the hotel and says that you will all be provided for, that you will each have rooms for the evening with fully comped bread and board for as long as you would like to stay. Crassius, she also shows you into her personal study and sort of begins to talk to you about the things that she does, sort of shows you around her own personal library. As the rest of you begin to come to some sort of rest here, we will leave it there for this evening as our Thursday's children consider their next move on the way to Morley. But before they do so, there is one more matter that they must resolve. As each of them returns to their rooms for the evening, they all come to rest in various ways or another. Crassius with trepidation and anxiety about the coming, whatever it is, you're not sure, the coming future. It's uncertain. Pavel, you know what you've done. You have to reconcile that with yourself and with your faith, whatever that may be. Dr. Anki, you yourself have some questions unanswered and to be answered. Ingrid, you feel that voice in your head still present, but it leaves you alone. And Alexander, you feel that same familiar sensation of a job well done, and perhaps something resolved that couldn't have been done without your help. However, Dr. Anki, there is something else that you find as you go back into your room. Slipped under the door is a note that simply says, "Prepare yourselves. Linnaeus is setting the stage for his final move. Take every precaution. K." And it is on that final note, literally, that we will leave our Thursday's Children for this session. Thank you, everyone, for playing. It was absolutely splendid to have you all run around. I only wish that I could not extend the shenanigans for longer, as that was bloody marvelous.
Yeah, very climactic.
You are all beautiful chaos goblins, and I love you. Thank you, everyone.
Goblins. You mean psychopaths?
Exactly. Affectionate term. Affectionate term. Psychos. Yeah. So you, thank you all for watching. That was a fun-filled adventure, and thank you for hanging out in VAESEN this evening. We will be coming around next week, same bat time, same bat channel at 8 p.m. 9 p.m. BST for the finale of VAESEN. We will be having our final mystery.
Oh,
The penultimate episode is next week, followed by the finale of the finale.
nice.
So that's going to be fun.
Time feckin' moves fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be the climatic wrap up. The players will have significant downtime in the middle, as they have been given a warning note from their friends, so they will have some significant things to prepare before the stage is once again set. But we will see you when it does. I can assure you of that.
I'm going to renege on my promise to fill apples with dynamite now.
That's fair. Yeah, thank you all for playing. Thank you for Matt for running around the Mythic North with us. It's been a pleasure having you, my dude. It's been
No,
a
thank you
pleasure
so much. It's been so
having
good.
Cassius.
I thought I was
Absolutely
going to
delight.
die just then.
It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. I was not prepared for you guys to split the party at all. Roll credits.
Yeah.
How could
Not
we
gonna
not?
lie. Not gonna lie, Matt.
Fantastic.
If you'd done it, you probably would have.
I know that I very much tossed up. I actually messaged Elle privately about it. I nearly said the words, but I knew when you were like, "What do you intend to do?" And if I had have said the words that I said to Elle, I would have been like, "I would have died there." And I was just gonna go, "No contract is a good contract."
Amazing and
Yeah.
horrifying. I love it.
Sorry.
Right. We will come to a close for this evening. Stacey, if you could play us out. Thank you all for watching. We love you all, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye.